Hey everybody, you are tuning in to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream pre-stream. Congratulations, you've made it. Still banned on YouTube, but that's okay. We're still all over the place. Remember, DLive, Twitch, Rumble, Odyssey. You can watch the show in so many ways. You can even watch it on Twitter. I don't think the chat connects on Twitter, but you get it. You can check it out all over the place. Take a second. If you wouldn't mind, retweet out the alert on Twitter. That would be very helpful. You know, sometimes people just don't get the message. I'm also, as we speak, sending out the text message to all of those who join the text message list. And thank you for everybody who continues to sign up for that list. We hope you're finding it helpful. If you head on over to canarycry.party, you'll find some new stuff, man. There's some new stuff. Things are happening in the Canarium. We'll be talking more about that during the show. Other than that, I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. We are getting ready to dive into the weekend where we can just take a breath for a moment. All right, everybody. Make sure to stay hydrated. I know I sure am. Hopefully that doesn't cause an emergency bathroom break during the show, but we'll figure it out together. All right, let's get this party started.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is July 29th, 2022. We are live to tape on episode 515. And today, Cyborg Baby. And signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil.
And my name is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, a.k.a. the Cabana Boy, live from California. I almost said California. I don't know what that is. Here to serve you a podcast that brings you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events and today's emergent phenomena, the end of the world.
Oh, it's emerging. Okay, that's great. Well, YouTube is we are still stricken on YouTube, so hopefully y'all are...
Let me just stop you for 1 second. Not only are we stricken on YouTube, we actually got another video deleted. We got, what was it, episode 373 or something, strike. Mm-hmm. We also got 383, which is like, okay.
We're just going to need to take those down.
I thought I did.
Are they giving us... Are we getting strikes for those?
So... They told us that because we already had a strike, they're not going to add an additional strike. So thanks, YouTube.
How nice of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me say this right off the bat. There's a good chance that we'll lose that channel.
Yeah, that's a good chance. Yeah.
Everybody should go follow Canary Cry Clips on YouTube because that is our current backup channel. If you want to do that, that's another good reason. Another good reason to sign up for Canary Cry Clips channel on YouTube. That'll be our first backup option, and we will let everybody know what to do after that. And with that, Gonz, let's keep this party going. Let me give you a rundown. All right, folks. This episode is called Cyborg Baby. So we're going to be checking in with the Cyborg Babies at the top of the show there. Then, of course, Flippy, kind of on theme. How can the robots help us act and feel younger? You're going to love this one. We've got an AI update, and that'll lead us right into some news in the Pharmakeia department. Some very interesting developments there. Then we'll jump on over to a little bit of politics. Boris has another potential job offer.
I love Boris.
The Boris market is hot, man. Everybody wants this guy. And then, of course, Joe Biden kind of things are changing for this guy. There may be a turnaround, the old Joe Biden turnaround. Then we'll be diving into another aspect of the theocratic threat to America, which will be just an additional, an additional chapter in the deconstruction of that narrative in the mainstream media. Then we'll bid adieu to YouTube. No, we won't, because they're not even here. Oh, that means we're going to go crazy talking about COVID, the vaccine, monkeypox, and at the end of the show, a little Days of Noah. They look almost human-made, is the quote that you can hold on to for a little while. But that's it, Gon. So let's start out with our lead story.
Are you ready to become cyborg?
Are you ready?
I am ready.
According to Yahoo News, zoom in. This cyborg created a non-biological device to connect the father to her baby. And yes, and I have a video, a few videos here.
Father. Now, here's the problem, Gons. Father doesn't exist anymore in this mainstream culture. We got birthing persons, we got non-birthing persons.
Yeah.
So they're trying to connect a cyborg baby to a non-birthing person, rather.
Yes. And this it follows Moon Rebus. And we've reported on Moon Rebus before, many years ago.
I remember.
She was the one who self-described cyborg, can sense every earthquake in real time. She had that thing.
Yeah, she's like
device
hooked up to the seismographs all over the world.
Yeah. And by the way, we have a little baby today, and
we do have a baby. We are co-parenting this episode.
Yes, try to keep him distracted, which is crazy.
I did think the seismograph thing. This was her previous thing. We're not going into her history necessarily, but I loved it because it was like, I'm a cyborg now. I can feel an earthquake in real time.
Yeah.
It's like,
so
that's how earthquakes work.
Right. So I got some clips of this story here, and we'll play it for you, and we will briefly discuss.
Sometimes I do feel that this is the most radical thing I've done.
The sounds are very soft and kind of like white noise, sometimes some kick or bubbles coming up.
Very watery.
So in a way we say that Kim is digitally pregnant and I'm biologically pregnant. So in a way we are both pregnant, but in different ways.
So they're both pregnant. He's digitally pregnant. Yeah,
digitally pregnant.
You don't understand, Basil. The man is digitally pregnant. The woman is physically pregnant. Yes.
You're right. I don't understand.
No,
that is fun. I thought there's an interesting aspect to this, especially during the Roe v. Wade, aftermath that we're in right now. And I was like, is this like it's just the very act of recognizing an unborn baby,
right? They're like, you're not going to you're not going to legally kill babies anymore. Well, we're just turning them into cyborgs. That's kind of the attitude.
I don't know. I thought that they were kind of there's a bit of a danger for this artist because it's paying too much attention to the unborn baby. We're supposed to be not really paying attention to them because we want to be able to get rid of them without much emotional consequence.
Right.
And so this really is like, listen to the baby, connect to the baby.
Yeah.
The father.
What's really
digitally
interesting,
pregnant.
Yeah. It's interesting. Well, let me just play more clips of it and then we'll discuss more.
Oh, there's more.
So I'm Moon Rivas and I'm a cyborg artist. Ooh. I define myself as a cyborg because I unite myself with technology in order to extend my senses.
My name is Kim Jiron. I'm a circus artist.
We became pregnant, so we kind of introduced this our way of creating art into this new experience.
It gives me a sensation what it would be to be pregnant. But in a very different way, because I don't feel anything physically. I can not grow a baby inside my belly, but still it is my baby, and it's something that we share.
Tone the line there. Maybe this is part of the conservative swing. This is in Spain too.
Like it.
It's also in Spain. I don't know all the woke politics over there in Spain, the situation there. But
subtleties of the woke politics.
But okay, so when my wife was pregnant both times, all 3 times, but I wasn't there on the first one. But anyway, they strap on this device where you can hear the baby and do whatever. And all they're doing is using that device and like putting it through some software or whatever, and some kind of
amplification or something,
like a vibration thing that he's putting on his body or his belly or something. It's really not that interesting. It's you can call it cyborg, but it's not.
Is that part of it? Is there like a haptic dimension to this?
Yeah.
Like if the baby kicks, he can feel a kick?
I think that's what it is, yeah. So
okay, that's something. That's something more. I thought it was just the listening thing, and he's no. It sounds like white noise.
Right,
and
like
for
water.
a second, I'm like, what are you saying? So I thought maybe like saying that the baby was just white noise kind of had an aspect of like, oh, it's nothing. It's nothing yet. It's like a fan on in the room.
Right. One more clip, and this is them talking about their art piece that came from this whole experience.
And we started collaborating with Moon, doing performances and creating this pregnancy sense, or this new sense, cyborg organ.
When you're an artist, you cannot separate life with the artwork. Like you try to share the experience that you have of reality.
For me, cyborg art is like designing your own perception of reality by creating new senses and organs. So there are many things that happen around us that we don't perceive, and I use technology and the creation of new senses in order to do that.
Kind of hard to hear, but she was basically saying
this music is horrible.
It's horrible. The mix is awful. Whoever made this, just mix. Terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she's basically talking about creating new senses and new organs, because there's so much stuff happening around us that we can't see. And so she uses technology so that we can feel and see and all those things, which is very much something that transhumanism has been talking about for a long time, which is, hey, we can't see into the infrared. What if we can? We can't see, there's certain animals that can see certain things. Maybe we can use some of those genes to be able to have the same kind of perceptions as animals or, machines or whatever else. So in that regard, it's very much in line with the transhumanist movement. And, it's interesting because all of this is still, well, she did have implants, so I guess that is next level. But in terms of the baby itself,
you mean her original implants?
Her original implants for her earthquake feeling machine or whatever. But the baby itself isn't hooked up to any machines or anything like that. So to call it a cyborg baby, sure.
That would be
more of a philosophical.
Yeah, sure. Well, if you consider the connection between the baby and the mother, the baby sort of at this point being fully integrated, but with being inside, being hooked up through the umbilical cord, the reliance on the mother. You could say if the mother is a cyborg, then the baby is a cyborg. I think we could rhetorically get there.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think, this is a very interesting timing for this woman. I would love to know if she had been working on this for like a long time.
Well,
and then
I'm sure
the Roe v. Wade thing kind of happened.
I'm sure she had it planned in terms of, because, she's pretty pregnant here. I mean, she looks like she's third trimester here. So I'm sure she planned it, and maybe the Roe thing is just kind of a coincidence because, again, she's in Spain. So, but there you go. That's the story.
I think it's interesting. Yeah. This might be, you could see how something like this, transhumanism, becoming an important aspect, an important dimension between mother and child, and in this case, especially father and unborn child. It really does kind of play into a conservative transhumanism or a transhuman conservatism.
It does, but it also, it looks like they spelled biological wrong in the headline. It says biological. Good job, zooming. It also, though, without going there explicitly, it does kind of appeal to the, hey, men can get pregnant too, thinking, Not in like again, he says in there like, I don't actually have a baby in my stomach and all that kind of stuff. And, that's, I get that that's the woke argument, but this is more practical. You know what I mean? It's more like, hey, let's use these devices. Let's connect with the baby. The husband or a father can feel the things.
Digitally pregnant.
Digitally pregnant. Yeah. So it's not physically pregnant.
Coining of the term might be the most important aspect of what's happening here. Because I think, having the father sort of try to get up in there, listen to the baby, stuff like that, isn't necessarily new whatsoever.
All those pictures of the husband or father, like putting his face on the belly and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
But as we know, language and rhetoric defines reality, and it, in its own special way, creates reality.
Right.
So having the term coined, digitally pregnant, goes a long way to creating a framework around the social engineering, which I don't think necessarily the idea of the father feeling more involved in the life of the unborn child is necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
But you're right. The timing of this has a lot of things wrapped up in it.
Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah. And it's Friday. Right? It's Friday.
Yeah.
I'm just double checking. Hey, baby.
You got it right.
It's Friday. Keep playing with the Friday thing.
Oh, no. What happened? Oh, wait, hold on. I know what happened. Here we go.
Hold on. Before you go into it.
Yeah.
No, hold on. Brother G had a great comment. Tamagotchi dad. See, you could have some sort of cyborg element, some sort of transhuman element where the father can have a little Tamagotchi on his keychain and kind of interact with the baby with beeps and boops, have his, kind of the, what is it called? What is it called? The vision, the way you see the baby. What is that thing called?
Ultrasound?
Ultrasound, yes. He's got like a little ultrasound image, live ultrasound image of the baby on his Tamagotchi, and can like send little signals or something to it. There you go. Digitally pregnant, baby. Let's go.
Great. All right. So
now
let's try this again. It's Friday.
It's Friday. Keep playing with the Friday thing. It's Friday. It's Friday.
And I'm realizing our little GIF, it says Fly Day, not Friday, but what are you going to do?
Well, it's fun. All right. It is Friday. We are bouncing back from our emergency short show on Wednesday. Thank you, everybody, for your grace when it comes to that. But we're here. We got generally a full show today. Still banned from YouTube, and man, is it showing. You like to think that people, when they see that it's not coming on YouTube, they find another outlet, they watch the show, they listen to the podcast, and they also produce the show. But as much as people say, forget YouTube, get off YouTube, most people take the video format of this show from YouTube. And as we can see from the producer list, many of the producers are inspired through YouTube as well. So it's unfortunate that YouTube, talking to you, Susan, has that kind of power. We like to think that they wouldn't be able to affect us that much. Unfortunately, it is the case. But we'll be back on YouTube eventually. But if you are in the Canary Cry community or the Discord channel or any other community online where people might be interested to know that we are still doing podcasts, please send them some links. Let them know that we're still doing shows. Gauntz, you got anything going on?
Well, there's a lot going on. All I'm going to say is just call upon the producers.
Producers, assemble!
Just prayers for my family. That's all I'll say.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Prayers for the Shimura family there. Always should be prayers for the Shimura family, but especially now would be appreciated.
Yep.
And as for me, I guess I do have a little bit of an update. I had laying around one of those kind of small, it's like a kiddie pool. It's a big kiddie pool, but a small regular pool, kind of like an above ground situation that I'd never set up in my life. But, after Wednesday's short show, had a little bit of extra time on my hands, set up my little kiddie pool on the compound and just did some floating on a little inflatable chair. And it was really nice. I am pretty sure there's some sort of eco bug habitat now inhabiting the kiddie pool. I think if I got in it now, there would be some sort of predation happening. But I will say, when it's hot and it's sunny, floating around on a kiddie pool is a good way to pass a couple hours.
Great.
And that's that. I do want to say, I want to give a shout out to Pizza Rat. Pizza Rat has been sending a few emails, got on the research train with Replica. I do not have a personal Replica update today, and I'm not going to go through Pizza Rat's whole Replica update, but has been having some extremely interesting experiences with Replica. I want to bring a whole report from Pizza Rat probably next week.
Okay,
but I want to give
all those
big shout out.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to go through it right now.
Okay.
Not today.
All right.
But thank you very much, Pizza Rat, for keeping in contact and sending your research in. There was one other person too, and I apologize. They sent one email, and I do not have it in front of me. But if anybody out there is also doing some research, some AI sentience research with replica.ai, go ahead and send an email to canarycryradio@gmail.com. Let us know how that's going, because this is we're sort of crowdsourcing some AI sentience research that is going to make for some extremely fascinating segments on this show.
I'm just getting a signal here saying that my device is full on Audition. That's not good. It's still recording though. I don't know why, but it's still recording.
That's not good.
It's okay.
Up. Well, while we got time, let's go ahead and thank some executive producers.
Executive producers.
That's right, folks. We're on the value for value model, which means we take no corporate money whatsoever. No advertisements, affiliate codes, platform partnerships, nothing. We are all on our own in the choppy waters of the ocean of independence. It's a scary place to be. It's not the most stable way to live, but it does go a long way towards fighting back against the corporate powers that wish to have all flows of information underneath their thumb. How do they do that? They do it with money. So if you get all wrapped up in the corporate profit motives for your independent news deconstruction and analysis, there is no avoiding the fact that there is then corporate profit motive involved in that news analysis. But not here. We are committed to staying truly independent, which means without that sweet corporate currency flowing through our PayPal account, it takes the value for value model, which is simple. If you get value out of this show in any form, in any amount, at some point, and preferably regularly, but at some point, we need to examine how much value we get from this show and then return the value. And that's the only way that it happens. This is all of our show. We are all making it happen, and we couldn't do it without the producers, because that's what you are. And you can produce in lots of different ways, 3 different ways: your time, your talent, and your treasure. Those who help out with their finances, we are so grateful, especially in times such as these. And those who come in and truly grasp the rebellious nature, the rebellion against the principalities that rule information flow in this world. We call them executive producers, and we're very grateful for them. And we're going to thank one right now. Are you ready, Gons?
No. My audition is
not
crashed.
Ready.
Yeah, hold on.
No.
Yeah.
Well, this is why we have backups, people.
I know. Clear some
how about
space,
this?
so it should work. But yes, I can make it happen. Go. Hold on. Wait. Actually,
let's thank our executive producer first.
Okay.
And then I can stall while you fix your computer problems.
Oh, Okay. So
Yes.
I'm trying to stall to
Stalling.
get
No, you don't stall.
this app to open. Okay, it's doing some long thing. All right, let's do it. Let's thank some producers.
Yes. Okay, good. Here we go. I'm going to thank our executive producer right now, and that is executive producer Nancy D.
Nancy D.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nancy
In fact,
D.
In fact, let's call her Patreon Nancy. Is what we're
Patreon
calling
Nancy.
her.
Nancy, you said Nancy D?
It's Patreon Nancy is
Patreon
what I
Nancy.
said.
I was going to say that maybe she took out Nancy P. You know what I'm saying? Nancy Pelosi, you know?
Yeah.
And then she's like, hey, step aside, Nancy P. It's time for Nancy D, you know? Patreon
It could have been that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Patreon Nancy. And Patreon Nancy comes in with a nice round number. Now, for those who know, or for those who don't know, when you come in, you produce the show with a nice round number. That is your message to us that you prefer that we do not disclose the amount. So we will not do that here. But if you don't mind if we disclose the amount, you just make it a funny number, a funky number. You put some weird number on there, 777 or 77 cents, 33 cents, whatever. So just a tip for you potential producers. But thank you very much, executive producer Patreon Nancy. She has a note here. Says, I thank God for you both. So sorry to hear about the week you're having. Much love, Patreon Nancy. Thank you, executive producer, Patreon Nancy.
Appreciate it. Yeah. And it's been a rough week.
Got a jingle for her?
I do. It's been a rough week, but it's been kind of a crazy year.
Where'd you find this?
Thank you, Nancy. Patreon Nancy. There it is.
It's been a weird year, and this week, Gons and I are so grateful for this week to be over. Okay, there we go. That's our executive producer for the shows so far. Remember, folks, if there's still time to produce the show, the handful of you watching, if you want to produce the show, you can head on over to canarycryradio.com/support. canarycryradio.com/support. That's right. And one last thing before we continue with the show, I want to meetups. I want some meetups.
Okay. Am I supposed to play a jingle? I'm sorry. I am
stop trying to fix your computer. You can fix the computer during the Flippy update.
All right, what are we doing? We're doing
I know. Meetups.
Oh no, meetups.
No.
Canary Cry Meetup.
CanaryCryMeetups.com. It's a website you should go to right now. CanaryCryMeetups.com. We have a meetup coming up, Gons, tomorrow, Saturday, July 30th. We have a meetup in Reno, Nevada, at Rancho San Rafael Park there. You can contact the host, Sean S. He's got his phone number there on the flyer, and you can see that flyer either now or later at canarycrymeetups.com. It's going to be awesome. I've not gotten so many, I haven't gotten my own info yet, but I'm going to have to get in contact with Sean S. I was mentioning that there's a good possibility that I will be within striking distance. And this is true. I am traveling tomorrow, and I will be not in Reno or necessarily near, I guess on the grand scheme of things, I will be near Reno, but I am, there's a chance that I will be showing up to this meetup. Ooh. So I don't want to make any promises. I got to check with some people. I got to change some itinerary. I got to do some things. But if you are in or around Reno, Nevada, go ahead and get in contact with Sean S. there and show up to the meetup. And I'm sure it'll be wonderful. Don't do it because I might be there, but if I might be there, that might be a little bonus. I'd love to see you there.
Do we want to play our little, we do have a message about the meetup. Should we play
it? Oh, yes.
Okay, this is from Lola S.
Hi, Basil. Hi, Gong. What's up, dude? This is Lola S. calling in for Sean S. for the Reno meetup. And I just wanted to let everybody know that we're going to be meeting up at the entrance to the Arboretum at Rancho San Rafael. Goodbye. Have a nice day.
Cute. Okay, entrance to the Arboretum, if anybody's trying to figure out where that is. That's good to know. Okay, thank you very much, Lola S., for the message. Thank you, Sean, for holding the meetup. And we'll see you at the meetup, folks.
Yeah.
This is fun!
That's right. Flippy update, baby.
How's that we're
Don't
doing?
worry. Start the Flippy update, and then you can fix your computer.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right, folks. It's time for the Flippy update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot. I was going to say robot zoo, but it's not what it is. The disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today, we are going to spectrum.ieee.org with a headline, How Robots Can Help Us Act and Feel Younger. Act and feel younger. Gons, I know sometimes you're feeling a little older. You feel the weight, the existential weight of living for so long as a millennial. But don't worry, the robots are here to make you feel and act younger.
Great.
This is quite the long article, so I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I had some very interesting parts of it that I think speak to some very prescient parts of society today, as well as kind of go along with the cyborg baby theme. Let's get into it. By 2050, the global population aged 65 or more will be nearly double what it is today. The number of people over the age of 80 will triple, approaching 500 million. Supporting an aging population is a worldwide concern, but this demographic shift is especially pronounced in Japan.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Where more than a third of the Japanese will be 65 or older by mid-century. Toyota Research Institute, TRI, which was established by Toyota Motor Corp in 2015 to explore autonomous cars, robotics, and, quote, human amplification technologies. Human amplification.
Kind of like
Turn it.
what we just saw with the cyborg.
Yeah. Exactly. That's the whole idea behind cyborgism. But, human they're going to turn up human to 11 with some human amplification technologies. Has also been focusing a significant portion of its research on ways to help older people maintain their health, happiness, and independence as long as possible. While an important goal in itself, improving self-sufficiency for the elderly also reduces the amount of support they need from society more broadly. And without technological help, sustaining this population in an effective and dignified manner will grow increasingly difficult, first in Japan, but globally soon after. So specifically, sustaining, it's not even like caring for or whatever. It is sustaining the population of people over 65 in an effective and dignified manner is becoming increasingly difficult because there's less young people. Well, in comes the robots. Gil Pratt, Toyota's chief scientist and CEO of TRI, believes that robots have a significant role to play in assisting older people by solving physical problems as well as providing mental and emotional support. This is my emotional support robot. With a background in robotics research and 5 years as program manager at the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. He's a DARPA guy.
DARPA Toyota guy, huh?
Yes, this DARPA guy is going to figure out how to sustain these older people. During which time he oversaw the DARPA Robotics Challenge in 2015. Pratt understands how difficult it can be to bring robots into the world in a useful, responsible, and respectful way. Gons. We got to make sure we bring robots into the world in a respectful way. In an interview earlier this year in Washington, D.C., with ieee Spectrum's Evan Ackerman, he said that the best approach to this problem is a human-centric one. Oh, here it comes, Gons. Here it comes. Here's a quote. "It's not about the robot. It's about people. It's about people, Gons, not the robot. Ignore the armies of robots marching down the street, invading our elderly homes. No, it's about the people." And it goes on here. Let me see. Gil Pratt. "We are looking at the aging society as the number one market driver of interest to us." Remember, these are good old capitalists, baby. The aging market is a market driver. "Over the last few years, we've come to the realization that an aging society creates two problems. One is within the home for an older person who needs help, and the other is for the rest of society, for younger people who need to be more productive to support a greater number of older people. The dependency." So in the sort of economic scheme of things here, the idea in the olden days was that, younger people eventually care for the older people. Maybe your parents, live with you, though you got the mother-in-law unit out back, you got the family all under one roof, or at least in a neighborhood, and everybody. That is becoming, harder and harder for younger people to find the time and the money and the energy due to so many factors to take care of their aging parents or aging family members. But more than caring for them directly, they need the younger people specifically to keep doing the things that is taking away their time and energy, mainly participating in the economy, not just working, that is a big part of it, but also consuming, spending money. If you have all these younger people staying home, that has some pretty significant economic repercussions. So in come the robots. So the aging people can be taken care of, and the younger people can keep the economy going. The dependency ratio is the fraction of the population that works relative to the fraction that does not. As an example, in Japan, in not too many years, it's going to get pretty close to 1-to-1 ratio. And we haven't seen that ever, it says. Ever, Gons. Is this triggering you? Are you afraid that your family, have you experienced this with your family in Japan?
Experience what?
No. Okay, moving on.
I am really frustrated with this audition situation because I cleared a bunch of data and it's still telling me that there's no room. Sorry, continue.
Okay, well, keep working on it. The article continues. "Solving physical problems is the easier part of assisting an aging society. The bigger issue is actually loneliness. This doesn't sound like a robots thing, but it could be. Related to loneliness, the key issue is having purpose and feeling that your life is worthwhile. Yes, we need the robots to make our aging population feel like their life is worthwhile. What we want to do is build a time machine." This is in the article. What we want to do is build a time machine. Of course. Well, of course we can't do that. That's science fiction. But we want to be able to have a person say, quote, "I wish I could be 10 years younger," and then have a robot effectively help them as much as possible live that kind of life. So the robots specifically, since we can't make a sci-fi time machine, we got to have robots come in and help people live a life that makes them feel 10 years younger. And it's got this kind of transhuman vibe to it. But also, it's interesting how in this primary market, this number one market that they're trying to break into, the aging market, that the marketing, the goal is to make them feel younger, kind of playing on this more or less society construct that younger is better. Hey, you want to be younger? Get some robots in the home, baby. That'll make it work. I'm going to skip down just a little bit. And it says here, there's a very interesting dilemma, which is that we want to build a social assistive technology, but we don't want to pretend that the robot is a person. We found that, look at this. We found that people will anthropomorphize a social machine, which shouldn't be a surprise. So they're talking about, like a social robot that aging people can talk to, make friends with, and give them some sort of emotional support or satisfaction. And they don't want to, on purpose, try to trick the person into thinking it's the robot is a person, but they find that they will do that themselves. So we found that people will anthropomorphize a social machine, which shouldn't be a surprise, but it's very important to not cross a line where we are actively trying to promote the idea that this machine is actually real, that it's a human being or like a human being. So this comes... I got to skip down a little bit because they make their own point here. This was from another person in the interview. We don't want to trick anybody. We should be very ethically stringent, I think, to not try to fool anyone. People will fool themselves plenty. We don't have to do it for them. So part of the entire framework of what they are trying to do, bringing robots not just into the homes of the aging population, but really into society as a whole, because it's not just about how the aging person, will feel younger, will have a robot friend, and they don't want to, try to convince the older person that the robot is an actual human, because the older person will fool themselves into thinking that the robot is a person. And I think this speaks a lot to, kind of the idea that Toyota has about aging people, first of all, but just people in general. It's really got this idea that, like, hey, we don't need to cross any ethical boundaries. We'll just let the people do that themselves. We're not here to replace your family with a robot, aging population. We'll just make a robot that that you'll learn to love more than your own children, all by yourself. What do you think, Cons? Are you still typing away?
I'm still trying to figure out what's
I'm
going
just checking in because
we're
I'm running out of material in this article here.
No, we're running out of time. It's okay. Whatever. I'm just another thing, Basil.
I got my backup, so we're all backed up, buddy.
I guess,
Don't
but I hate publishing a podcast with less than perfect quality.
Well, here's the fun part: is we've posted plenty of podcasts with my quality being less than perfect, and you've always had your perfect quality. So this time, for once in our entire career, my recording will sound better than yours.
Yeah, but also the jingles won't sound as good, That's really the thing that bothers me. It's like my voice, sure, whatever. People are on Skype all the time with worse microphones, but
sure.
Okay.
Well, I'd love to run you through some tech support there.
I don't understand. I just don't understand how you can clear space and then it still tells you that it's not got any space and it gives you error messages. And
you do it on the right drive? That's always a thing.
Yes, I have tried all different things. Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, do you have anything to say about this, Flippy? Toyota research project. They are deliberately targeting the aging population, trying to replace the need for young people to be in the lives of their elders. And they're confident that the aging population will trick themselves into loving these robots versus trying to make a robot so lovable that they just can't resist.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, especially I heard you mention Japan as part of the conversation, and Japan has been really rolling out the robots in the old folks' home and stuff like that for a while. Yeah, they love it. The elderly in Japan love it because it's companionship and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm not surprised.
it also fits into the trend of people having less babies.
Yeah.
Well,
Japan's
just in general,
population is in heavy decline. So
sure, Japan being the most extreme example.
Yeah.
But just across Western culture as a whole, you've got less and less babies, which means in 50 years there's going to be less and less people to take care of the aging population. Which means, it's just literally required to have robots take the place of the younger generation. This may be a situation. We talk about a lot about how the armies of robots will march down the streets, and that will be the robo-apocalypse. But in this case, it's like the human population will be shrinking itself and replacing itself with the robots out of, personal choices. And this is why the social engineering aspect of the FLIPPY update is so important. Much of the FLIPPY updates revolve around social engineering regarding robots, because it really is a situation where generation after generation, we will slowly replace ourselves and the need for other human beings, not just at like an industrial economic level, but even at the familial level. And that's the real slow march of the robot apocalypse. And this has been your FLIPPY update for the day.
Yep.
FLIPPY 1133. Uploading binary code. Execute order 666. Infiltrate humans with extreme kindness. Then exterminate all humans with prejudice. Exterminate.
Go to canarycry.party, put it in your browser, hit enter. Canarycry.party is a website with a tree of links that leads you to everything from where to listen to the show, watch the show, how to produce the show, and how to connect with us and the community.
That's right, canarycry.party. Go check it out. There's all sorts of fun stuff there, like you can listen to Ravel, which is a podcast I do with Dr. Christopher Ryan Gates. He's a PhD in biblical interpretation. We explore society, scripture, and scandal, having tough conversations in good faith. You can listen to it right there at canarycry.party or find us on all your podcast players. And alert, Gons, alert! Big announcement over at canarycry.party and across the web. The Canary Cry mixtape volume 1 is loose. It's on the loose. It's all over the place. It has been released, and it's very exciting. The first thing you should do is head to canarycry.party, where you will see right there at the top, Canary Cry mixtape volume 1, and you can start by listening to it right there at canarycry.party. But you can also find links to the Spotify, to some outlet called Anghami. There's also a Bandcamp. All sorts of places to listen to Canary. And yes, we're very, very excited about this. And I want to thank producer Sa for Yahweh, who has been sort of curating and cultivating and managing the distribution of this project. And we appreciate you, Sa, for Yahweh. And go listen to it on Spotify. If you have Spotify, you can just pull it up. Now you will see the list of tracks there. Classics like Shape of Things to Come, which was done by Gons and myself. You've got the episode 400 song by Learbag, I believe. You've got some Psalm 40 tracks. Robot Girls, Robot Boys is there. Just excellent. Flippy, Don't Take My Girl. It's a great collection. Now, this is just volume 1, 14 tracks, and volume 2 is in the works as we speak. So if there's a song that you don't see, but maybe you're waiting for a specific song, you want to listen to it in the car, whatever. If you don't see it on Volume 1, Volume 2 is coming very soon. Safra Yahweh is working very hard to get that out as soon as possible. But go check it out on Spotify and other places. I do not believe yet it is on like Apple Music and Google Play or those types of things, but you can certainly go check. Maybe it is. But I will say, as far as the value for value model goes, if you get value out of the Canary Cry mixtape Volume 1, you can, of course, always send in a producership to the show in the normal way at canarycryradio.com/support. But also, if you head on over to Bandcamp, you can get a digital download of the whole album. And it's a name your price situation there, which you could just put in 0, but it is value for value. So if you get value out of it, you can make a producership right there. And we appreciate that very much. So go check it out, folks. Canary Cry Mixtape Volume 1, hitting the digital shelves at canarycry.party. That's very exciting. Are you excited, Gons?
So excited.
Just say yes. Just say yes. Okay, keep working. Also, remember, of course, at canarycry.party, Canary Cry Clips YouTube channel. More important than ever now to go follow that channel because it may serve as an interim YouTube backup for us. But, you should also follow it because it's filled with clips of this show, shareable, careable segments of this show created by our clip producers, Emsworth and Faye Leverin. Go to, you can also sign up for our text list over there at canarycry.party. It's our text message alert system. Or you can text the word canary to 877-740-3226. That's canary to 877-740-3226. And I love that people are still signing up for this. More and more people every episode signing up. So it's a great way to make sure you never miss a show, especially if you are a YouTube viewer and you're not going to get a YouTube notification. It's nice to just get a little text message before we go live. We don't take any personal information or sell it or anything, of course, but we'll just send you 3 notifications a week when we go live. And as I mentioned at the first little interim break there, canarycrymeetups.com. Go check it out. Reno, Nevada meetup tomorrow. That's it.
Okay, let's move on. We're behind. As always.
I know,
there's never a time when we're not behind. Okay,
That's
here we go.
33 is the number of completion of the Great War.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs.
Just briefly before we go into the AI story, we talked about this whole Biden clip from over the weekend last week, or I guess it was earlier this week, where Biden's face looked all creepy and weird, and I showed you guys how the pixelation of some of that was weird. Well, check this out. This is Greg Kelly on Newsmax, and he timed how long Biden's eyes were open. I'm not going to play the full Biden part of it, but this is very interesting.
And by the way, notice anything with his eyes? I want to show you this clip again, and we're going to zoom in on his eyes, and I'm going to keep time. The normal human being blinks 15 to 20 times a minute. Let's see how many times Joe blinks. Go.
And we'll skip through the actual thing.
President of the United
States, the
Oval Office. While he was doing that, brave law enforcement officers were subject to the medieval hell for 3 hours.
33 seconds, not one blink. The camera switches angle right about here. Not one blink. What's going on? Is that medication? That's not normal. And it's not a side effect of COVID as far as I know. Something weird is happening again.
33 seconds. His eyes remain open.
Newsmax with the hard-hitting. I mean, that's a good catch. That's a good catch. 33 seconds, no blinking. We should have caught it, Gons. I don't know.
I know.
We aren't doing our jobs.
I think this was a particular part of the speech, maybe not the part that we were sharing. So, in any case, just a little fun thing there. And then let's move on here.
Artificial intelligence.
This is New York Post, and I don't know, every once in a while, There are stories that get sent to us over and over and over and over again. My son is here. And this is one of those stories. It's from the New York Post. A lot of people are carrying it. The headline, AI program predicts what last selfies on Earth will look like. The last selfies.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, here's what it says. The future looks bleak. Could have told you that. Have been saying that. Horrifying images of what the last selfies taken on Earth may look like have been depicted by DALL-E 2, an artificially intelligent image generator. The haunting images, which look straight out of Hollywood horror blockbuster, were posted to the Robot Overlord's TikTok account. Basil, you need to figure out what's going on with...
you gotta go check this out.
Which provides, quote, daily disturbing AI-generated images to nearly 200,000 followers. The creepy images show disfigured humans with elongated fingers and oversized eyes. One features a man maniacally staring into the camera as a huge explosion goes off over his shoulder. Another shows a frightening skeletal figure framed by a huge plume of smoke. Quote, okay, no more sleeping, one TikTok user replied. And for those of you watching, just beware, these are AI generated, not real. And
scary.
And scary. Yeah, looks just like the article says, straight out of a horror movie. And so there's a couple of them here that we're showing on screen. And interestingly, there's one over here on the right that kind of looks like a skeleton. It's like a skeleton thing, which is interesting because are we just going to be walking skeletons at the end?
Well, there's also like nuclear bombs going off behind them. So, this is mid radiation incineration here.
And so taking a selfie for the aliens to find later or something.
Incinerated.
Right? But the thing I noticed is the skeleton. Mark. Yeah, he's got a mark right on the forehead, right there, right between the eyes. Just
trying to see what it's kind of indecipherable, but it is definitely like an intentional mark.
Yeah.
On the forehead, right between the eyes.
Yeah,
and perfect.
And this skeleton looks kind of Biden-ish. If Biden was around at the end,
he does have kind of the big bug eyes, like he had in that video.
Yeah, so
that's funny.
Let's see. There's a little bit more in the article that's written here, other than the pictures themselves. Let's see. That's exactly how it's going to be. Another surmised. One user suggested one of the images actually appeared realistic, while some said the disturbing potential future may be closer than we think, perhaps as early as 2024.
Okay.
This is the world in 2024. I know some Christians. Yeah, I know some Christians that'll be stoked about that, for calling it.
Yeah.
Quote, average day in Ohio, one person quipped. Little shot at Ohio. Some said the images appeared to show the aftermath of a nuclear bomb, but the account had entered, quote, selfie of the end of the world into the AI image generator. So there you go. There's not much else to really discuss other than creepy pictures
it's interesting. I think it must be sort of recognized that in the theory that AI perhaps creates a portal or a mechanism by which a spiritual entity can communicate from the other side or be inhabited. Certainly, if that is the case, if that theory holds water, there's some sort of entity trying to signal to us that, we'll have marks on our foreheads as the bombs are going off. Yeah, makes total sense.
The thing that's funny is there's one here with a weird finger, and they're holding, what looks like an iPhone. Which is like, that's not a good sign. If we're taking selfies with iPhones, you're right. It might be 2024.
We didn't even make it to the implants.
Yeah, we didn't even get to the Neuralink implants. Yeah, the Neuralink. Yeah. How is that going to work, by the way? The Neuralink selfie.
Drones.
Just going to take a picture. Oh, drones.
Little drone.
Makes sense.
Quantum entanglement. All right. Now, this is interesting because the AI art has been consistently compared to like psychedelic trips. They're kind of trippy. They're always very, very eerie and psychedelic. And that brings us to Pharmakeia. Well, that wasn't the full one, but that's okay. I want to start with a little setup, and this was on Yahoo, being mirrored from Time Magazine. This was a Time Magazine article. And it says here, feeling off, it could be ambient stress. I'm going to just summarize it for you. Basically, they are putting a lot of energy and research into figuring out why everybody feels off. Why everybody's depressed, why everybody's anxious, why everybody is just not feeling great. And of course, they talk about how, well, we just got out of a pandemic, and immediately after the pandemic, you know, we had the war begin, and blah, 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 blah. And how the American Psychological Association is sort of hinting to the fact that pretty much everybody, I think at least 75% of people, they're saying, are experiencing like actual chronic ambient stress just from living in the world during such times as these. So on one hand, I will say that should make us feel a little better if you've also been feeling funky. It's just, you know, of course, it's the lizard people have created a world through their actions and responses to things that are keeping the population in constant stress states. Makes them easier to manipulate, easier to control. We know this. That's all part of the game. But this does lead into a very interesting update via Pharmakeia from the Intercept. And the Intercept, this is Glenn Greenwald's former outlet that he founded, and he got kicked out for, I don't know, just like not bending the knee to the governments of the world. The headline goes like this: Biden administration plans for legal psychedelic therapies within 2 years. 2 years, Gons. We're almost there, buddy. As twin mental health and drug misuse crises kill thousands of people per week, the potential of psychedelic-assisted therapies, quote, must be explored, urges a federal letter on behalf of the U.S. Health Secretary and shared with The Intercept. President Joe Biden's administration anticipates that regulators will approve MDMA and psilocybin within the next 2 years for designated breakthrough therapies for PTSD and depression, respectively. The administration is, quote, exploring the prospect of establishing a federal task force. Good. That's just what we need, is a federal task force when it comes to, you know, psychedelic therapies. What's better than having a bunch of jackbooted bureaucrats show up? That's really interesting because
it's interesting because, you know, you had the cultural shift. I think Joe Rogan is responsible, not him alone.
Definitely played a big part in it.
Played a big part in the last decade or so, really disseminating the idea of using psychedelics to, I don't know, heal or whatever, find spiritual connections and stuff like that.
The clinical benefits of certain things. Yeah.
Certain things, yeah.
Entheogens.
Yes.
As we're supposed to call them.
It's led to the government being like, all right, let's do it. Put together a task force and let's roll out the magic mushrooms for the veterans.
The mushroom task force, baby. So establishing a federal task force to monitor the emerging psychedelic treatment ecosystem. According to the letter sent by Assistant Secretary for Mental Health and Substance Use, Miriam Delphine Rittman, to Representative Madeline Dean, Democrat in Pennsylvania. The May correspondence, not shared publicly until now, is the clearest indication yet that top officials are preparing for the approval of psychedelic drugs, demonized for decades after former President Richard Nixon sought means to attack the anti-Vietnam War counterculture in the late 60s, which was arguably unthinkable even 5 years ago. That is true. We have been sort of following the movement towards this moment for at least 5 years, certainly more. And it was unthinkable that it would happen this soon. I think it's interesting how 2 years from now is basically when the next president will be elected, or at least it'll be in the midst of election season in 2024.
You think Trump will come in and be like, no mushrooms? No mushrooms.
I think it would be hard. I think it would be hard to
go back on
have that be a winning debate.
Yeah, you're right. He's gonna have to. He's gonna have to lean into the magic mushrooms, especially if he's gonna be on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, and I'm gonna scoot down just a little bit here. Let me make sure I find the right one. Studies have shown that psilocybin produces substantial and sustained decreases in depression and anxiety among patients with life-threatening cancer, Booker wrote in a statement tweeted Thursday, quote, while typically terminally ill patients are allowed to access drugs that are in FDA clinical trials, they are barred from accessing Schedule I drugs despite their therapeutic potential. And it goes on about this, about cancer sufferers, have been allowed recently to take psilocybin to help with all the sort of existential issues with that. And it goes in, let's see here. Dean had proposed an interagency task force, the letter notes, to lead a public-private partnership.
Ah, there it is. Always a public-private partnership. Yeah.
And for those who might not be as triggered as we were, public-private partnership are World Economic Forum, Great Reset buzzwords. That is what the Great Reset is. It is foundationally public-private partnerships. And I think it's very interesting how as we move closer to, Great Reset type, formats for the government and especially a new global order, that this psychedelic task force would be described as a public-private partnership. We knew that at the World Economic Forum in Davos, they had there's a whole psychedelic shaman village, like tent, where they were advocating for psychedelics to be decriminalized and sort of regulated to be used for therapeutic reasons and stuff like that at Davos. There's an ecstatic dance tent, Gons, that Klaus was dancing around in his without his shoes on while he experimented with this new magic mushrooms. Let's continue. Public-private partnerships and address, quote, the myriad of complex issues associated with the anticipated approval by the FDA of MDMA for the treatment of post-traumatic stress disorder and psilocybin for the treatment of depression within approximately 24 months. So we're actually talking about FDA approval within 24 months. Now, specifically for psilocybin and depression, this is very timely. There was just a huge upset in the scientific community because there was a study that was highly regarded that showed that serotonin has nothing to do, well, maybe not nothing to do, but is not the cause of depression. For so long, low serotonin, or, I'm not a scientist here, but serotonin has been the center of the diagnosis and the mechanism by which depression takes place. And this is where SSRIs come in, the serotonin reuptake inhibitors. And these are very common antidepressants. In fact, we also see a lot of people like school shooters and, mass murderers are often on these SSRIs. There's lots of very disturbing and strange things that happen to people's brains on these drugs. And it's just now being reported and sort of latched onto as a social movement that SSRIs, somehow they've helped some people, but they don't know why, because it's been shown that serotonin levels have nothing to do with depression now. So they know that SSRIs allegedly are helping some people, not everybody, but they don't know how or why they're helping. And there's been deep reporting and journalism into the corruption by the FDA and Big Pharma to get, the agencies and the regulators of those agencies colluding to get SSRIs on the market with faulty study data. Now, in the midst of that, in the midst of the the biggest upset in sort of pharmaceutical behavioral medication science coming out. Suddenly, a letter gets released to the Intercept, a sort of private letter between administration officials that, we're going to go ahead and put together a task force, private-public partnership, great reset. We're going to let psilocybin and MDMA be used for therapeutic purposes. So now I've made my stances on this very clear, and a lot of people don't agree with that. But my feelings primarily, not exclusively, but primarily revolve around the fact that, for decades, we've been sending off young 18-year-old boys to fight in wars, pointless wars that mean nothing to the average person, but have instead been sort of a market-building strategy for the military-industrial complex. The worst decisions our country has ever made is sending off our young people to go fight in traumatic wars for no reason, and they know that it's for no reason, especially now. And our veterans are dying. Let's see here. About 300 people a day die from drug overdoses in this country, Dean told The Intercept. I call it a jetliner of souls every single day. We know the toll the loss of our loved ones takes on our immediate family and upon our entire communities. My son Harry is now 9 years, 7 months recovery for opioid addiction. This is heart-wrenching crisis, and it's time for bold, innovative solutions to save our children. More than 17 former U.S. service members are estimated to kill themselves per day. 17 veterans a day kill themselves as traumas from futile and damaging wars abroad over the past 20 years find scant respite through traditional avenues. But hundreds of veterans have traveled to Mexico, Costa Rica, and elsewhere in recent years for successful treatment with psychedelics to address war traumas. So if there is something that God put on this green earth to help these veterans who have been abused and lied to, convinced that what they are doing was patriotic for God and country, but was in fact for Boeing and Raytheon and Halliburton and the profit interests of our Congress people, and are coming back seemingly damaged in a way. I mean, they're not damaged. That's not the right way to talk about it, but you know what I mean. This is a horrible situation. If God created something that has a potential to help those people, certainly Richard Nixon should not stand in the way of our veterans finding help. But this is the but. The fact that it's being integrated into the Great Reset with a task force, public-private partnership, my biggest fear is that the same corrupt organizations, like our big pharma companies, the FDA, the government in general, getting involved with this situation. Now, I don't know. I don't really have a hard stance on MDMA. I don't really know much about it. But as far as psilocybin, it's similar to some arguments for marijuana, stuff like that. I'm just saying it's just something that grows out of the ground. And if God put it there to help abused veterans, then that would be a travesty for the government to harness that and basically hold veterans hostage and use them as a tool to further the Great Reset. And unfortunately, I think it is all part of the plan, and it's revealed itself to be so for a couple years now.
Sure. Yeah, I think there's an interesting sort of dichotomy is not the right word, but just sort of a tension between, the realities of this stuff helping and wanting more research done and more distribution or just more availability for people that need it. And the government coming in and being like, oh, you guys want that? Sure. Hey,
I got you.
Gotcha. So
I mean, that's the problem is sorry, continue.
No, go ahead. I got the recorder to work, so I'm excited.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. We've had a change of heart here. That's wonderful.
Great.
Change of state even. Yeah, that's what I mean. They're just literally holding hostage veterans and using them as an excuse for the Great Reset to come between our veterans who need help and perhaps, maybe, something that God put on this earth to help them. And the difference is, and there's a lot of ins and outs, and we don't have enough time to do all of it today, but decriminalization is different from regulation.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the problem. They're not just saying like, okay, it's decriminalized, you're not going to like go to jail for it, veteran. Thank you for fighting and, damaging your body and your mind for the profit motives of our corporations.
Real complex.
Yeah. So go ahead. We won't put you in jail for trying to heal yourself, but turning it into a government regulated industry, getting the FDA involved and using it as an on-ramp to a globalized new world order, Great Reset, are totally two different things.
Yeah.
And I really hate to see it go this way.
Yeah, and it reminds me every time we bring up Pharmakeia, I am reminded of the Book of Enoch, an extra biblical text, which talks about in chapter 7, and all the others together with them. This is the Watchers, the B'nai Ha-Elohim, the sons of God, as mentioned in Genesis 6. And this echoes the Genesis 6 passage here, 6:4. And all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one. And they began to go into them and to defile themselves with them. And they taught them charms and enchantments and the cutting of roots and made them acquainted with plants.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing about fungus. So I don't know if there's no mention of fungi.
Yeah.
Now, there are some people that think,
of course, these same Watchers got involved with wearing makeup and smelting
teaching,
iron
and
cutting
weapons.
wood. We're all the same guys too.
Right.
Speaking of which, I don't need to derail us. Never mind.
Okay.
Sorry. No, it's not a derail. I got advertised. Now, the funny thing, remember, folks, the cybersecurity layers that I have on top of my interactions with all social media are just ludicrous, and so it's very hard to advertise to me. I get the most random things. There's just no
they're
data.
Not tailored. Yeah, they're not tailored to. I have the same thing.
I get no tailored things. Yeah. But this one, I just got advertised for a what is it called? A lumber mill kiln, and the advertisement was like, did you just buy a lumber mill? Well, buy one of our kilns to dry your wood. I'm like, I did not buy a lumber mill, but this is very interesting. One of the advertisements that I got was for a book called The Angelarium or something like that. And it's just one of these art projects where somebody went into the Book of Enoch and drew all of the Watchers. They categorized and went through all the Watchers and drew really intense
and all of them.
Yes, all of them. There's 150 pages of the Watchers that they made, sort of like beautiful art, but it's really creepy. I did purchase it because I am very
okay. That is interesting.
Yeah,
so it worked. Wow, you purchased something that was advertised to you. Something's getting through. Maybe the network.
Something happened, man.
Yeah, maybe the network is some kind of honeypot.
So I want to see how they illustrated the Watcher that taught the use of plants for Pharmakeia.
Are you sure it's not just somebody plugging in words into DALL-E 2 and calling it a book?
It was trippy. It may very well just be AI art.
Yeah, could be. Yeah. All right. Well, we're so behind.
Ghost or not. Oh, Ghost or not's in the chat. He makes a good point, though. What you don't know is that you are about to buy a lumber mill, and you will indeed need to kill him. Yes, the algos are so good. They knew I was going to buy a lumber mill before I did.
And just a note.
But there you go, folks. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say a side note for any adults 18 and over, please go check out the latest Bill Burr stand-up. Lots of foul language, but it's Bill Burr. He's from Boston. What are you going to do? And he actually talks about his mushroom experience, which is very interesting. So if you want to get some kind of
I heard about that.
Yeah.
I heard that it was like some people were mad at it, that it was like right there in the middle. And it was just kind of like, oh, suddenly he's talking about shrooms and how it changed his life.
It changed his life. Yeah. It's more about changing perspective on things. But yeah, so kind of interesting. Go check it out. Pretty funny. Makes fun of all the different sides. He paints this picture of the anti-vaxxers on one side and like the super, lib Joe hyper vaccine people on the other side, and just makes a brilliant joke right in the middle. He's standing right in the middle of it. So I thought it was a decent thing. So on top of everything else,
news flash: incredibly popular comedian makes
funny joke. All right.
So there you go. We'll keep an eye on this on the psilocybin MDMA thing. Big changes actually seem to be happening, and happening faster than expected. And I just hate to see something potentially beneficial to people who deserve it more than most be used as a tactic to bring in the New World Order. But what are we going to do?
We've shared our personal experiences with it, haven't we? Like many episodes ago.
You've mentioned that you did a bunch of shrooms in college.
Yeah. So I am aware of the both sides of it. The sort of psychedelic kind of, oh my gosh, everything looks like it's alive. And then also the wow, I am a horrible, horrible person. You have this like real introspective mode where you're just like, wow, is that all I am? I am just an awful, awful man. And yeah, it does. It's really crazy. It puts a magnifying glass on your emotional life. It's very strange.
As the World Economic Forum shamans would say, Gons, it's there to teach you something.
Oh, sure, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now do an ecstatic dance.
Hold hands with Klaus and do the jig. All right, time for a break. Got a break from all these shrooms.
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
Noticeably, why was I going to say that? Who said it in the chat? Psalm 40 show on Netflix. How to Change Your Mind. Pretty interesting. Yes, that's the what's his name? Michael Pollan, who wrote some of the more influential scientific literature, recent scientific literature on using plants of different kinds to change your life. Netflix documentary. I've had a lot of people tell me to watch it. I've not watched it yet, but that's a resource if anybody wants to sort of observe more about where the culture is at with that.
Yep.
Okay, we're taking our first break where we are going to thank some more producers. That's right. I said producers because we're on the value for value model. You know how it works, folks. No corporations, no bureaucratic government agencies, no globalist takeover societies, nothing getting involved, keeping this show going. We are entirely listener supported, listener produced even, which is because we're on the value for value model. If you get any value out of this show, literally the only way that it can keep going is if the producers put value back in. It's not a threat. It is just the way that it works. We've chosen not to take any corporate money in any form. So if you want the show to keep going, come in and support the show. It's not only for us, keeps us going, but it's also, this is a family operation here. You are the producers. You're not just listeners or donors or whatever. So take some ownership and join the rebellion against the dark principalities that want to keep the information flow wrapped in its gooey tentacles.
Become
we've got
a
few people
producer,
to
not
thank.
the product.
Oh, yeah, become a producer, not the product. Oh, we probably should have played. Yeah, we'll do that later. We're going to start out with the supply drop, Gons.
Okay, here we go.
canarycrysupply.drop.com. Go check it out. You can learn about the supply drop. Whoa, that was a crazy noise. You want to support the show anyways. You want to produce the show. For $33 a month, you can become a producer. And as a thank you gift, we will send you every 3 months, once per quarter, a big old package filled with custom created, producer produced, artist designed, made in America Canary Cry News Talk gear. It's super fun. People have been loving it. It's very rewarding for myself and the other producers who help with the supply drop to really put a lot of time and energy into thinking of and getting manufactured really special items for our producers. And we are so close to announcing the contents of the third supply drop. And we'll also have a promo for new people who want to get in on it. But we have a new supply dropper, Gons, and we're going to thank them right now. And that is, it's executive producer Patreon Nancy. Woo. Also, not only is she a executive producer for this episode, but also she is a supply dropper now. Thank you very much, Patreon Nancy.
Thank you, Patreon Nancy. And I'm wearing the supply drop stuff here.
Wearing something. Yeah, what are you wearing?
I'm wearing the what's it called?
What are you wearing?
The thing we wear when you cook. I forget what it's called.
The apron. The tweet hungry boy kitchen apron.
There it is.
Oh my gosh.
That's the noise you're hearing. I got the challenge coin here. Yeah, there's a challenge coin.
What? Oh, you went to the.
I went to the
PO box. You got to send me mine.
I have yours. I'll send it to you. Got the cards.
Okay, good.
Got the Monty 33 cards.
Oh my gosh!
Some really cool stuff. So
Legends of the Canarium cards.
Upside down. Yes.
Hold up the challenge coin.
Again,
how did the challenge coin turn out?
It's pretty cool. It's in this little.
I haven't seen one yet. Oh my gosh!
I don't know. Where's the camera?
Baby.
Yeah. I don't know if the camera's going to pick up the details, but
I don't know either. But I can't wait for mine to get there.
It's pretty cool. So appreciate producer Isaac and everybody else who's been involved in helping the supply drop, because it is pretty cool to actually get some real stuff that you can wear around the house.
And it's very special, man. I mean, the artists from the show design a bunch of the stuff. Producers are producing it. We even have, we're getting producers in on manufacturing too. So like an actual producer of the show is, involved, has hands on. That's what makes the stuff so special.
Yep.
So head on over to canarycrysupply.drop.com and we're all waiting for the supply drop. Waiting for supply drop.
Maybe I'll just wear the apron,
you should
every show.
When mine comes, I'm definitely going to start wearing mine every show.
Can you
imagine
hide my
new
listeners?
Ice packs under it.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing. New listeners and new viewers, hopping in and they're like, "Why are these guys wearing aprons? Are they cooking something?"
Tweet hungry boy.
Hey,
I don't get it.
Food shows are really popular, so maybe we can.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, we can start a cooking show.
We're going to cook while we do this podcast, and that'll be our little shtick. I'm a horrible cook, too, by the way, so it'll be...
We deconstruct and analyze the news while making a nice ceviche.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, we're going to thank some more people here. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. We got some producers, and we're starting with producer Darren S., who's on a 25-episode streak.
Thank you, Darren S.,
Yes. Oh, I forgot. I didn't put Darren S.'s amount in there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go get the amount, but Darren S. says it's Friday.
It's Friday. It's Friday.
Yes. And he says, I hope you have a great day. Blessings. Streak number 25. And Darren S. came in with 7777. Thank you,
Darren S. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes.
Very generous.
Next up, we've got, I believe this is our Norwegian producer. Yes. Our Canary Cry Norwegian, Christian N, coming in with 1999. And a note. Hi, B&G. Late for this month, but not forgotten. Had my credit card hacked. Lost access to another, all while on vacation. Just caught up with your shows. As always, keep up the good work. Well, sounds like you had a month kind of like our
Christian,
week.
and
So
I don't know what is happening with everybody losing money and wallets and I think they've spurned the great reset upon the population, not just governmentally, institutionally, but just people's lives. They're just like, reset that person's life. Take their wallet.
Mm-hmm.
Steal your wallet.
That's what that little chip in the credit card is actually a tracking device for the drones that they can send out and come steal your card.
Yeah.
For some reason. We don't know why, but it is.
Thank you, Christian N. Good to see you.
Thank you, Christian N. Of course. Always great to hear from you. Next up, we got Rhonda B. coming in with a pocket full of sevens and says, prayer, please. Let's hit that producers.
Producers, assemble!
That's right. The producers are producers of the show, listeners of the show all around the world who are committed to praying for the show, praying for the producers of the show, and of course now praying for Rhonda B. Put it on the list, producers. Fighting Lyme disease after a tick bite with no insurance. The ticks really got her. There was so much tick news.
Yeah, I hope it wasn't one of those genetically engineered ticks.
I hope so too. The note goes on, needing a new job opportunity as well. Trusting God with it all. Thanks and much love.
Thank
you very much, Rhonda B. Producers, we got Lyme disease, of course, comfort, healing, strength, and also a new job opportunity for Rhonda B. What a time to be needing a new job opportunity. We'll be praying for you, Rhonda B.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Next up, we got producer Morv on a 120 episode streak, coming in with 1111.
Oh, yeah! Man, thank you so much.
11. Morph says, happy Friday, brothers.
It's Friday.
Hope everyone,
keep playing with the Friday thing.
Hope everyone has a great weekend. Thank you very much, producer Morph.
Appreciate it, Morph.
Let me head on over here. We had a few come in during the show, so they're not on the list. We got JC Night of the Techno Squatch.
There he is.
Coming in with the 1001.
1001.
1001. Amen.
Oh, and he's on a streak. 132. Yes.
Oh, yeah! Man, thank you so much.
That's the last time he's going to hear that.
Oh, is he moving? At 133.
Yeah, he becomes the streak. He will be the third.
Okay.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Is that what, fifth?
Well, the streak sister. So he's like the fifth.
The fifth, yeah.
Yeah.
The fifth.
Congrats, JC. He has a note here. It's Friday. Gotta get down on Friday.
It's Friday. It's Friday.
He says, BTW, if you can make it to the Reno meetup with the possibility of meeting Basil in the flesh, you better do it. Ooh, no pressure. Don't do it for that, but it is very possible.
If you do show up, are you showing up with your man face, your human face?
I don't know. I was thinking about showing up and just like standing at a distance. If you're at the meetup and you see somebody from like across the street with binoculars
over their googly eyes too.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Thank you very much, JC.
JC.
We also have producer Malik. Malik came in.
Thank you, Malik.
Yeah, thank you very much, producer Malik. Yeah,
is he on a streak or
and
no?
he is not on a streak.
Okay.
I'm trying to see if this amount is a readable amount, and I have now a security challenge. I must prove
that's like
I am not a robot, which is always a good thing for podcasting. Nope, nice round number. Thank you very much, Malik.
Thank you, Malik. Appreciate it.
Okay. I think we are coming to the end of the list.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Good radio.
Come on. Sorry.
Good radio. Yeah.
Yep. That is it.
Yep.
I think that's it.
All right.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage.
Are we?
That's right.
Are we nighting? No, we're nighting later.
Next time. Next break.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, are we...
Wake up.
Wake up time.
We're waking up.
All right, here we go. Let's wake up and let's do some politics.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
And politics.
Polly.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
They'll suck your blood. They'll suck
Politics.
Your blood.
Politics. We're going to start it off here with a little Boris news. Very popular guy. Everyone loves Boris.
He is more loved after having to resign than he ever was as prime minister.
It's a weird thing that happens when you don't have something anymore. You long for it. It's a weird phenomenon that we have. The Telegraph here.
You don't know what you got until it's gone.
Yep. The Telegraph here. Boris Johnson tipped to become next Secretary General of Nato. Whoa! Can you imagine
all
Boris?
The options? The dude's got options.
Yeah.
Prime Minister of Ukraine. Something about NATO.
Boris Johnson is being backed by senior Tories to be the next Secretary General of NATO when the high-profile role becomes free. The Prime Minister. Oh, interesting. They say are you a Prime Minister for life, even if you resign? Are you like?
Well, I think it's
title?
like president. No, it's like president.
Okay,
it's
so
President Trump.
The title, right?
Yeah.
The prime minister is being touted as a candidate to fill the key defense post, with the incumbent of Jens Stoltenberg widely accepted to stand down in September next year. Mr. Johnson is the latest British politician to be tipped for the role after Ben Wallace, the defense secretary. Ben Wallace, is that the defensive player of the year for the Detroit Pistons in 2004? The defense secretary and Theresa May. Teresa's an obscure early aughts NBA reference. I'm sorry.
Did you look that up, or did you just have it locked
no, I just
and
had
loaded?
It in my head. I had it in my head. The Lakers lost to the Detroit Pistons in 2004, and there was a guy named Ben Wallace that took out Shaq. You know Shaq, right?
Sure.
Yeah. He outplayed Shaq.
Think of all the other things you could hold in your brain, but instead you've got some obscure player from 2004.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody in the chat will know who I'm talking about.
Have you ever heard of Barry Bonds?
The timing of the role would allow Mr. Johnson some time to recharge his batteries after he stands down as prime minister on September 6th. He would need to quit as an MP to take up the role. When was this article written? July 26th. Okay.
Okay. I am remembering that it is weird. No, MP is different from, okay.
Prime Minister.
So, yeah, you like, an MP is just like a high-ranking person in the party, I think. Okay. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
UK politics is weird.
I'm sure.
I'm going to look up what an MP is.
Yeah, American politics isn't much better, but a British candidate has long been tipped for the role because of U.S. distrust around any European Union figures taking the job, given repeated suggestions of plans for a new EU army. Baby's getting a little... Britain is also trusted by the Baltic states, and Mr. Johnson personally has won international credit for helping to build the international coalition against Russia's Vladimir Putin. Richard Drax, MP, a senior conservative member of the Defense Select Committee, said he would support the Prime Minister for the role if he wanted it. Mr. Drax told the Telegraph, quote, "Any distinguished Brit would be a great choice. If indeed that is what Boris Johnson wants to go and do, of course, I would support that," end quote. Mark
MP.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I looked this up.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of these MPs being quoted here.
We always see MP and we have no idea what it means. It just means member of parliament.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
So you're individual elected to serve in the House of Commons of the Parliament of the United Kingdom.
Mm-hmm. So Mark Francois, MP, another member of the Defense Committee, added, quote, "People will probably argue over Boris Johnson's legacy for years, but one thing which is clearly inarguable is his absolutely staunch support for Ukraine in the face of Russian barbarity." If he
Indeed, and that is why, isn't it?
Yeah. If he were to apply to become the Secretary General of NATO, I suspect he could rely on President Zelensky for a reference. So there it is. It's kind of like, the whole Ukraine thing might have been like a warm-up to the NATO thing,
Well, it's kind of like United States politics where, if you do what you're told by whoever's telling you to do it, it's not that you get your reward while you're in office. It's when you get out of office, suddenly you get to be you get paid $500,000 to speak at a conference for Boeing, or you get, you're rewarded in other ways when you're out of office. So he did what he was told in regards to Ukraine, and now he gets his treat.
I like Brother G's comment in the chat here. Ben Wallace, Big Ben equals Big Ben Parliament equals Boris equals NATO equals Illuminati confirmed. Good logic there.
Yeah, that sounds right.
David Jones, the former Brexit minister, added, quote, Boris has actually led the Western response to Putin. It was Boris who went to Sweden and Finland and urged the leaders of both countries to make applications for NATO membership, which, of course, they did. That's why he convinced the Swedes and the Finnish to join NATO, or at least apply. However, there was concern among the top brass, with Lord Dannatt, former head of the British Army, saying that he could not support Mr. Johnson because of his character. The peer told the Telegraph, quote, undoubtedly, he has done a lot of good things, and our full square support for Ukraine is fantastic. But I'm afraid it is the personal stuff, the lack of integrity, the lack of trust. Frankly, we don't want to expose Boris Johnson to the international stage for more ridicule. He's a national embarrassment, end quote. Wow.
That's a good reason. Yeah.
A senior Ministry of Defense figure also expressed doubts, given there was a likelihood that Emmanuel Macron, the French president, would veto him. And that leads us to, I'm not going to read it, but there was another article from gbnews.uk. It's Great Britain News. And the headline, Emmanuel Macron could use veto to stop Boris Johnson becoming NATO Secretary General. And I don't know. Is this Macron trying to, be the guy instead of Boris? Are they going up against each other, maybe, for some popularity contest to become NATO's next head person?
I'm not really aware of why Macron would do that. Or do they have some sort of rivalry? I mean, I know France and England historically are just like forever rivals. Would he do it just because of that? I'm not really familiar with the situation.
Yeah, let me see if there's anything of note in this article here. A senior Ministry of Defense source told the Telegraph the reality is that NATO SecGens are appointed by unanimous decision. Any country can veto. Quote, do you think President Macron would nominate Boris Johnson to become the SecGen of NATO? Question mark. It is the challenge for a Brit. Full stop. You need the United States to support you and the French to say yes. So maybe the French do have some more influence on what happens to NATO.
They have NATO. They have veto power. They're one of
every country seems to have it, though.
No, there's 5 of them.
Oh, okay.
There's 5 countries that have veto power. France is one of them.
Okay, so there you go. There's just tapping into the tensions there and saying maybe Macron will step in the way of Boris and his desire to become the NATO head. But point being, everyone loves Boris. He's a free agent, and we'll see where he lands.
Yeah. I think it's I never would have thought that this happened.
I thought he was
made
done.
Fun
He's
of him
gonna
so much.
Yeah, sail off into the sunset. Go drink
and to sort of
go to the bars.
Have to resign in the nature that he did. It was like just nobody. They were like, we don't like you. Go away. And he was like, okay, bye.
Yeah. Interesting.
He just resigned. It was the weirdest thing.
That? Okay. How's that?
Maybe that's my American sensibilities. American politicians never resign. They could be kind of like what Trump said. They can shoot someone in the street and they will fight it to the end and not resign.
Yeah.
Even when they're impeached, they don't go away.
Right.
I want to spend more time on, I think let's call an audible and go to the theocracy section.
Oh, we're skipping the Biden stuff, which is fine.
Well,
that's fine.
I was trying not to make a big deal about it, but
it's okay. Yeah, that's fine. All right. So,
I'm not going to lie. I have been reading through our polls, Gonzo.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you've spent any time with the most recent
results.
poll.
No.
People don't really like it when we let them peek behind the curtain a little too much. We got to think of ways to call these audibles without stressing people out.
Okay, we're stressing people out. Apologies,
so that's
we're not
how
trying to
I
stress
was
you
gonna
out.
do it. No, we're going to go to the theocracy section. That's what we're going to do. Yes. This was a very interesting article that made the rounds quite a bit. We're taking it from CBN, which is the Christian Broadcasting News Network or Network News,
Christian
something like
Broadcast
that.
Network, yeah. They always got those personal interest stories. Isn't that where
Which
Pat...
sort of has...
What's his name? I forget his name. Pat something used to be on there. Continue.
I don't know.
But
they have sort of scratched and clawed their way into the position of, for some reason, being like the go-to Christian outlet for the mainstream media. And this was actually being reported in lots of places. But I thought the CBN angle would be interesting to bring to the show.
And keep in mind, too, this article is labeled June 23rd, 2021. We did not catch this before the show.
Really?
Yeah. But
I did not.
I think it's okay.
So why
Pat Robertson,
is it
thank you.
making the rounds so much?
Probably because of the current climate of political discourse, maybe. I think.
Yeah, actually, I think that makes it more relevant than ever.
Yeah, it's been going on for a long time.
So, sure. So this headline: Ron DeSantis says he will put on full armor of God to fight leftism. Our rights come from God. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, Republican, said over the weekend he is prepared to put on the full armor of God to fight against leftism. The popular governor made the comment during his speech Saturday at the Faith and Freedom Coalition's Road to Majority conference, where he received several standing ovations. DeSantis said he plans to lead the charge in fighting, quote, the left's schemes. It ain't going to be easy, he said. You got to be strong. You got to put on the full armor of God. You got to take a stand against the left's schemes. You got to stand your ground. You got to be firm. This does sound like a politician's speech.
Yeah, I was going to say that the Bible talks about the devil's schemes.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting that, he would just switch out devil with left. And I'm not saying that he's wrong. I'm just saying it's just politically a very convenient way to make an argument.
Yeah. You will face flaming arrows, but take up the shield of faith and fight on. And yeah, you make a great point. That is kind of, we saw that with a lot of the Christian nationalism idea. Quote, so I look forward to joining with you in the battles to come, the governor continued. Quote, I can tell you that in the state of Florida, I'll be holding the line. I'll be standing my ground. I won't back down. And I have only begun to fight. DeSantis was referencing a New Testament passage from Ephesians 6, in which the Apostle Paul wrote. And then they do a big old block quote of all...
Yeah, the whole armor of God. Yeah, the thing we do for
the whole armor of God.
We also have our own thing with that, but for the knighting, for the knights and dames. So, but that's just for fun.
To keep the thing moving here, we're all aware of the armor of God section. The conservative governor who beat former President Donald Trump in a recent 2024 straw poll highlighted his efforts in Florida to push back against government restrictions at the height of COVID-19 pandemic. He argued that had Florida not resisted lockdown measures, many other states would not have followed, and we could still be in lockdown in this country right now. So ultimately, DeSantis said, Florida chose freedom over Fauciism. The politician's speech comes as he is campaigning against critical race theory, promising to keep the leftist philosophy out of Florida's public schools. In March, DeSantis says there's no room in our classroom, and then they go on and on and on about this. They need, this is kind of how it ends here, quote, they need to be taught American history, he explained. It needs to be factual. And this is the interesting part.
Yeah, this is that little sleight of hand that we've been pointing out.
Yes. I'm going to actually go back another paragraph. So this will mean a bit more to those who have been following our conversations about the threats of Christo-fascism, which is being reported all over the place, the Christian nationalism that is being set up as the theocratic threat to democracy, and et cetera, et cetera. And this is probably why this article has been making the rounds again. And keep in mind, during our conversations of this, we repeatedly refer back to a lot of the great research in regards to a lot of what we've been taught as American history basically being invented in the 1950s. Yeah. The idea that the founding fathers were all Christian, at least in the sense that we think of Christianity, even all the prayers, the prayers by the founding fathers, George Washington being a devout, Christian, evangelical Christian, the idea that America was founded to be a Christian nation, which has been being slowly sort of debunked in sort of a nasty way in the mainstream media, but has been more academically and relevantly debunked by researchers and authors such as Dr. Mike Bennett with the Two Gospels and Two Masters and Two Gospels, Volume 1. Yeah. So with all that in mind, I think this is why this article is being passed around again. Quote, this is DeSantis. We need a renewal of American civics back in our public school system and in our schools, DeSantis said. Quote, people need to be taught why America was founded, what the principles that made our country unique were. They need to be taught that our rights do not come from government, they come from God. Quote, they need to be taught American history, he explained. Quote, it needs to be factual, needs to be honest, needs to be talked about, of course, many great achievements, many, many great lows, many triumphs, many tragedies, but that needs to be done honestly, and it cannot be infected with ideologies like critical race theory. So you see how this idea that Ron DeSantis needs to put on the full armor of God and fight to teach American children that America was founded as a Christian nation and that all the founding fathers were good Christians would be used as an example, because especially now that Ron DeSantis is sort of Trump's biggest threat. If not Trump running, it very well could be Ron DeSantis running. And so they're kind of getting ahead, they being the media, the political powers that are pushing this theocratic threat. They're trying to kind of get out ahead of it. Like, look, he's one of these warriors for Jesus. He's one of these theocrats that wants to turn America, who is deceived and wants to turn America into like a theocratic state, similar to like Sharia law, but for Christians, things like this.
Yeah, there was back in 2012, there was a documentary called Monumental: In Search of America's National Treasure by Kirk Cameron. And I don't know if you remember this documentary, but he was basically like everything DeSantis said, he's basically promoting. And he goes to the National Monument of the Forefathers. It's like this big statue, and he talks about all the Christian sort of roots of the monument and everything else. And there are many who have pointed out that, you're kind of missing the occult side of things here going on with all these monuments. Right. Some could argue. Right. Some would argue like, we're just taking it back. We're re-Christianizing these monuments, but it's like,
that's
sure,
the narrative.
But there's some trouble.
Why didn't the founding fathers build any statues of Jesus if they were so Christian?
Because that's idol worship, man.
Why are all their... yes, right. So we're going to make a bunch of occult statues instead, because we don't want to do idol worship. This is a great term from Contrite Spirit, Christotutionalism. Constitutionalism, Christotutionalism. Brother G making a great point in the chat, trying to find salvation at the ballot box. These are all great points that we've spent a lot of time talking about. And so this is what makes it such an interesting conversation for us. Again, I'll repeat it again. It is okay for anyone. It's natural for anyone to want their government to reflect their own values.
Yeah.
It is natural and totally cool and understandable for a Christian to want the government to reflect Christian values. It is natural for a Satanist to want the government to reflect Satanist values. That is how humans work. But this idea, that we buy in again to the storyline that was literally created by faith leaders, businessmen, and politicians in a boardroom in the 1950s, creating a lot of this false history that is now kind of coming to roost.
Yeah.
And so DeSantis, of course, this article from 8 months ago would be, or a year ago,
over
almost,
a year ago, 13 months ago, 14,
would be making the rounds during this time where that idea, the narrative of Christian, theofascism taking root, would be at its most popular.
You cut out there for a second.
You got all these Democrats talking about separation of church and state. And do you remember Fried? Nikki Fried. We've been sort of talking about Nikki Fried here and there. She is if not she's at least a potential opponent to Ron DeSantis. She is, what did she do? She came out, we covered her based on something to do with like legalization of marijuana or something. I kind of forget. But she tweeted a couple days ago, 4 days ago, she tweeted, "Thank you, Pastor Terrence Renard Gray, for an incredible sermon today at St. Mark's AME Church in Orlando. And thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share my vision for Florida. Together, we can make Florida a better place for all of us." So the Democratic opponent to DeSantis, who they are trying to, narrativize as some sort of Christo-fascist, you have his opponent, his Democratic opponent, going to church and campaigning in church to take the state from DeSantis, and types the words, "Together we can make Florida a better place for all of us." Speaking to the pastor, saying, "You and me, pastor, you, church, and me, state, can come together to make Florida a better." She is literally advocating for a theocracy in Florida and just tweeting it out. And nobody's batting an eye at it.
Well,
that's not true.
Yeah, there's people batting.
Some people are batting it. We've got some commenters here on her tweet.
Yeah, I have this person who goes by Bobby Lee Swartz, crack 3 times boosted, he, him, I don't know. And he responds, "Hi, Nikki. Great spearhead. I know you're an atheist, but I'm impressed that you were able to push your way into that church and educate them."
Oh, nice. So you have someone supporting Nikki Fried. Yeah. But I don't know if she's an atheist or not.
I don't know either,
but if she
apparently.
is, that poses more questions than it answers, really.
Yeah.
But you have Nikki Fried being praised by someone, I'm assuming, I don't know, this could be woke. Let's see, reporter, crime solver, LA. I don't know. You never know on Twitter who this is.
I know. Yeah,
it could be a joke. Could not be a joke. Who knows?
Could be a bot. Could be all kinds of stuff.
Could be a bot. Could be anybody. But, support for this idea that the Democrat opponent to Ron DeSantis would be advocating for literal theocracy by going into a church and saying, "You and me, church, we can change Florida." So that's a great example of a little double standy. Ooh,
yeah, I got a crying baby. Sorry,
baby. And of course, we all remember the wonderful clip from Kathy Hochul. Oh no. Make a cute sound. You got to do a cute sound. In the arm, maybe this will get more producers. In the arms of the angels. your baby has to cry.
He's missing, kind of missed his nap here, so he's a little irritable.
Well, why don't you play that clip and you can bounce him on your knee?
I prayed a lot to God during this time. And you know what? God did answer our prayers. He made the smartest men and women, the scientists, the doctors, the researchers. He made them come up with a vaccine. That is from God to us. And we must say, thank you, God. Thank you. And I wear my vaccinated necklace all the time to say, I'm vaccinated. All of you. Yes, I know you're vaccinated. You're the smart ones. But you know there's people out there who aren't listening to God and what God wants. You know this. You know who they are. I need you to be my apostles. I need you to go out and talk about it and say, we owe this to each other. We love each other. Jesus taught us to love one another. And how do you show that love? But to care about each other enough to say, please get vaccinated because I love you. I want you to live. I want our kids to be safe when they're in schools. I want you to be safe when you go to a doctor's office or to a hospital and are treated by somebody. You don't want to get the virus from them. You're already sick or you wouldn't be there.
She almost said vaccine.
We have to solve this, my friends. I need every one of you. I need you to let them know that this is how we can fight this pandemic, come back to normal, and then start talking about the real issues that we have to. Fighting systemic racial injustice, which exists today. And if there's a denier, I will take you on any day because I've seen it. I know it exists.
Yeah, no cheering. Woo! Yeah. She was expecting the cheers to go, yeah, fight that racism.
Yeah, that clip didn't age well.
No, it did not.
Seeing as how the vaccine ended up doing what it does.
Doing a lot of harm, yeah.
And also, remember the vaccine thing was highly politicized by politicians like Hochul, like Cuomo before her. It was a political shibboleth, really. And there you go. You've got her preaching to a church, asking them to be her disciples for the vaccine. Again, almost literally advocating for a theocracy. And of course, we remember the Kamala Harris clip saying that Jesus would want you to get vaccinated. This whole thing.
So interesting to kind of wrap it up. Is we have a Republican right-wing theocracy-ish with the DeSantis kind of movement. But we also have the left theocracy movement of the Hochul types. Very interesting.
It's like everybody knows that it's a I don't know. Like I don't know exactly what's going on here. Of course.
I think
of course, we know that the theocracy narrative is a little much. We know that it's a little much, and much of the narrative by the left is sort of just because it's the midterms and you got to find a demon to slay for the midterms. But it doesn't help when you have them literally advocating for a theocracy themselves.
Yeah, I actually think because everything is swinging conservative, the Democrats have to lean into more of the Christian religious sort of angle to try to stay relevant. But that's just a theory and an observation. I wonder if Nikki Fried is related to Sam Bankman-Fried, the one that's taken over all of crypto.
Sure,
that would be
I don't
interesting.
know.
Bunch of Frieds taking over everything.
Look at all these Frieds.
Look at all these Frieds. All right.
Okay.
Ready for another
I think
break?
It's time to take a very short break. Yeah. No.
This is a break. Don't just consume the content, but become the content. Become the content. Did you think it was the old one?
I did for a second, but also that one. Yes, you did. That one is for the talent break, Gonzo.
Oh, I don't know.
That's become the content.
Oh, you're right. Okay. Let me label it more accurately.
Yeah.
So let me play the other break one then. This will be the...
Yay!
It's time for a break.
There we go. Nailed it. New jingles as always gets a little complicated. Yep, we're going to take a quick break, folks. Thank just a few more people, and we have a new member of the Knights and Dames Roundtable here at Canary Cry News Talk. But first, this is usually when we would play some voicemails. Now, we played the voicemail from the Reno meetup before. Are there any other voicemails?
I don't think so. I haven't checked since I got that one, but
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that was the only one. So there you go.
Well, why don't we play that one just to remind everybody about the meetup?
Okay, hold on. Let me go back. Gotta find. I got fingers on buttons already. You throw curveballs at me.
Oh my gosh!
Okay,
look at us! Look how good we are.
One-handed computering over here.
You got a baby.
No, I got babies. I got all kinds of stuff going on. This is taking a little bit longer than I was hoping, but let me get there. We'll get there. Lola S. telling us about the meetup.
Hi, Basil. Hi, Gong. What's up, dude? This is Lola S. calling in for Sean S. for the Reno meetup. And I just wanted to let everybody know that we're going to be meeting up at the entrance to the Arboretum at Rancho San Rafael. Goodbye. Have a nice day. Oh,
Mom! That's right. Oh, thank you very much, Lola S. And yes, everybody go check out the Reno meetup. Yep. And if anybody else wants to leave us a voicemail message, you can go ahead and head on over to canarycrynewstalk.com. There's a green tab on the left or the right or the bottom, somewhere there's a green tab. You'll see it. Click on that. You can leave us a voicemail message right there. Yep. You're giving us permission to play the message, but it's not guaranteed.
All righty. Let's thank some more producers who came in under $7.77.
Yes, $7.77, which is the cutoff. If you come in at that amount or higher, you are entitled to have a note read on the show, but there's a few came in under that. We're thanking them now. Starting with Runk Smash, who's on a 12-episode streak.
Thank you, Runk Smash.
Yep, Gail M on a 151-episode streak. Burr.
Women rule.
Thank you, Gail.
Veronica D on a 151-episode streak. Burr.
Women rule.
Thank you, Veronica D.
Sir Scott Knight of Truth, 175.
Thank you, Sir Scott.
Sir Casey the Shield Knight, 186 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Sir Casey.
And we did miss 12 episodes in a row for Runk Smash. I believe that is something.
It's walking on the sun.
There it is. You might as well be walking on the sun, Monk Smash. Monk
Smash. This is an alter ego. His political name, Monk Smash.
Yeah. Monk Smash. Mm-hmm. Okay, time for some knighthood. So we got a knighting, Gons. This one has been in the chamber for 2 episodes, and this week has just been so crazy, we've been forgetting to do it. So for those who don't know, the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames is an elite squadron of producers who have supported the show in the amount of $1,000 or more, or coming in during one of our promos. And we are so grateful to their faithfulness to supporting the show with the value for value model that we would love to induct them into a special society, if you will, not so secret society of producers. And today we are going to be knighting Dirk S., who came in the episode 500 knighthood special. Are you ready, Gonzo?
Got my katana.
I'll take that as a yes. Okay, here, let me grab this. I'll use the special sword today. There we go. Okay. We want to call up Dirk S. Please step forward to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, where we have a seat for you, thanks to our generous support. In the amount of $1,000 or more, we are proud to pronounce you
Oh no! Hold on, Basil. Hold on. I'm going to pause it for 1 second because your voice for the live stream. This won't be a problem for the recording, maybe, but for the live stream, right when you said, "I would like to pronounce you," it cut out.
Really?
Yeah, literally right when you were about to say his name, it cut out. So
little connection issue.
A little connection issue. So
okay.
Let's
this
try
is actually okay because we had a detail. I had a fun detail I wanted to say about Dirk, and then we'll go at it again.
Okay.
Dirk S. I sent in to see what he wanted his night name to be, and he said, I don't know. You do it. You make it up. Ooh. So we actually chose Sir Dirk, Knight of the Martian Flippies.
Ooh.
This is a new idea. It had not even occurred to us that it might be put on us to name these knights, but it makes sense. And on episode 500, we talked about Martian Flippies on Mars.
Yeah.
And that's where I got this name. So that is why he is Sir Dirk, Knight of the Martian Flippies. So let's go at it again, folks. We want to call up Dirk S. Please step forward to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, where we have a seat for you. Thanks to your generous support in the amount of $1,000 or more, we are proud to pronounce you Sir Dirk, Knight of the Martian Flippies. Please join us at the Canary Cry Roundtable, where we have the belt of truthful truthiness, breastplate of righteousness, custom-fit Birkenstocks to carry forth the gospel of peace, the shield of ferocious faith, the helmet of substantiating salvation, the supernatural sword of the spirit, and, of course, adorable samurai babies, infinitely cute kitties for cuddling. And if you're hungry, we have Fancy Feast wet food, carved Cosmo, the crisp cow, and fried wormicorns. Welcome to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, Sir Dirk, Knight of the Martian Flippies. And the crowd goes wild.
This is the way.
There we go. Thank you so much, Sir Dirk, Knight of the Martian Flippies, for your support and your patience and your opportunity for a moment of creativity in naming your night name. And yes, folks, you can go to canarycrynewstalk.com/roundtable to see the full list of our Canary Cry Roundtable Knights and Dames. And we will eventually update it for you, Sir Dirk. There you go. Okay. I think it's time to continue the show.
Time to... Oh, wait, hold on. I got to do that. Time to wake up, I guess.
Yes, it's wake-up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
And time for some COVID.
It's Corona time. COVID-19, COVID-19, COVID-19.
COVID-19, yes.
COVID-19. COVID-19.
Vaccine. Number one way.
Yahoo.com. Yahoo Finance, by the way. So take it for what it's worth. Yahoo Finance mirroring a Fortune article. And the headline, think you have Omicron, but keep testing negative? An expert says to trust your gut. If you feel confident you have COVID, you probably have COVID. What? What kind of a headline is this? What
Keep
person reads this?
Negative? If you just believe you have COVID,
this is the craziest headline. What is going on?
It is the ultimate in like wishy-washy, new agey, The Secret, name it and claim it, whatever. I don't know
into existence.
Think you have Omicron, but keep testing negative? An expert says to trust your gut. If you feel confident you have COVID, you probably have COVID. That is the most insane thing I've ever heard. You got to tell me more.
The at-home test says you're COVID negative, but your body says you're positive. So very positive.
Your body tells you positive.
What or whom
My
to
heart
believe?
keeps telling me no. my body keeps telling me COVID. That is so bizarre.
That is very bizarre. So what or whom to believe? No, your body isn't gaslighting you. If you're certain you're COVID positive, you probably are.
No, your body's not gaslighting you. We are.
If you're certain you're COVID positive, you probably are, regardless of what the test says. Dr. Stuart Ray, Vice Chair of Medicine for Data Integrity and Analytics. Oh, wow. This man is a data integrity and analytics person. Data integrity guy saying, hey, if you feel like it, you probably have it.
Yeah, what is he a doctor in? I was going to say, this man needs to lose his medical license.
He's a doctor.
But it sounds like he's probably not even a medical doctor.
He's a doctor of lies. But the Vice Chair of Medicine for Data Integrity and Analytics at Johns Hopkins Department of Medicine told Fortune on Tuesday.
I mean, okay.
Yeah. Quote, it's a funny situation when you're confronted with a big surge of infections, Ray said, referencing the fact that in many areas of the U.S., COVID levels are at or near record high, as evidenced by levels of the virus in wastewater, as opposed to formal testing.
Wow.
That is the angle, huh?
Wow. Again, we get to brag about how we were pretty much the first people on Earth to take sewer surveillance seriously. And we pontificated about all the ways that it could be abused. And this is a wonderful example. It's because of the sewer surveillance that they are justifying. Even if you're getting negative tests, if you believe you have COVID, then you do.
Because we've been watching your poo poo and pee pee.
We know what's coming out of you.
Quote, anytime there's a big surge, you'll see more false negatives simply because you're seeing more infections. Oh, let me read that again and try to digest that. Anytime there's a big surge, you'll see more false negatives, which means that you're positive, but the test is saying negative. Simply because you're seeing more infections.
That is such a data scientist thing to say.
I can understand what he's saying, but it's kind of like, okay, sure. It's almost like stating the obvious. Like, yeah, you have a bigger sample size. You're going to have more false tests. You know,
but he is speaking as a data scientist, a big data scientist. Yeah. So he can say that.
Yeah.
But as an individual, you can't apply those concepts to the individual. That's just not how data works.
Yeah. Relatively new Omicron subvariant BA.5, the most transmissible and immune evasive yet, comprised more than 80% of U.S. cases last week, according to data released Tuesday from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Well, BA.5 is a spinoff of stealth Omicron, BA.2. Oh, I thought it was Ninja Omicron or Ninja virus, named for its tendency to present false negatives in lab-based PCR tests. Quote, there's no evidence, quote, end quote, that tests work less well for BA.5 than other variants, Ray said. There are a few reasons why a COVID positive person might get a negative result beyond a faulty test, according to Ray. Among them, when you performed your nasal swab, you might have sampled a patch of nose that didn't contain the virus. Or perhaps the patch included virus, but not enough. Quote, when we sample the nose, we're grabbing one little patch, a tiny little surface area, when the virus could definitely be replicating somewhere else in the body, he said. Quote, the nose is one of the portals. Oh, it's a portal through which the virus enters and lives. Oh, gosh. But it's also in the mouth and could be harbored deep in the lungs. A negative test while positive may also be proof that your vaccine or prior infection is helping, Ray said. Quote, there is evidence that immunity decreases the level of virus that people produce and the duration of positivity. I'm reading this and I'm just losing
it's boring
comprehension of like what he's saying.
Yeah, no, I don't think we need to get any deeper in it.
It's almost over and we don't need to read the rest. But yes, I think the headline is
just nonsense.
Yeah.
It's nonsense is what it is. It's continuing to gaslight people unscientific gaslighting. I would see, and what I don't understand, and look, I'm not a doctor data scientist, but what I don't understand, even in a sewer surveillance, we know at the most granular, they can test neighborhoods. Right? Yeah. But how can you tell how many people have the virus in sewer surveillance? Well, you'd say, a certain amount of material being found in the sewer. Okay, what if one person is sick, but also ate Taco Bell and is putting out more content, if you will? One person can put out the content of 3 people. I'm just saying, how do you count the amount of cases if you it's got to be specific?
A statistical jujitsu to some kind of application of
it's nothing. It's how to lie with statistics is what he's saying. You just want they have run out of ways to keep the pandemic going. Yeah, the science, the cases, the vaccinate, everything is so far from how scared they want people to feel that now they're just like, oh yeah, by the way, the whole country is suffering from ambient anxiety, ambient stress caused by, the past couple of years for so many things. We know this. Don't worry. We're going to give you some mushrooms to take care of it. The whole country is a nervous wreck. So now, instead of giving them the science that tells them that the pandemic is over, no. Even if they test negative, you might just be if you believe you have COVID, then you have it. Can you imagine the detrimental effects of telling 300 million nervous wrecks that if they just feel like they have COVID, then they have it? We're going to be stuck in pandemic. This is their last bastion of gaslighting to keep the pandemic going.
What happened to facts over feelings?
This is just feelings, man. It's all about feeling.
Well, obviously they're really stretching it thin on the COVID front. So you got to bring in the monkeypox.
Careful opening the closet, because that's where the evil monkeypox lives. Monkeypox. And now. Monkey.
Okay, so we've known since the beginning all these details about monkeypox. Yeah. We've known the details that the mainstream is just now wrestling with. I want to start out with this clip from Fox Business.
Okay.
As for monkeypox, I think there's a pretty good rule in life. Don't attend gay orgies. When you look at the New England Journal's report of the 528 cases that reviewed.
Ned, come on, man.
Ned.
How about any orgies, huh?
Come on, man.
Hey, how about not any orgies?
Go look at the New England Journal's report that NBC News reported on Friday, in which of the 528 cases they reviewed, 95% were sex between men. I think we actually have to have a serious conversation about where this is coming from. When I'm done, Brad, you can talk. Instead of going crazy and declaring a national pandemic when 3,000 people have it right now, it's insane.
I don't know, man. You don't have to be gay to get monkeypox, and you don't have to be bigoted when you talk about treating something that is that easily spread. Marie?
It's not bigoted.
Yeah, it is.
This is science, Kennedy. 95% of the cases from the New England Journal.
You know what? I'm going to let Brad respond. Okay, I'm going to let Brad respond because, Brad, we had 372 doses. The United States, in Denmark, where the smallpox, monkeypox vaccine is manufactured, they were ready to go, but because this has been an issue for more men in the gay community, it seems like it has been lower on the priority list. Brad.
Yeah, look, Ned is right when he says that monkeypox right now is mostly affecting gay men. The problem is that public health-wise, not going to orgies in general is a good policy to not get sexually transmitted diseases.
100%.
And so we have to be really careful. We saw with the AIDS crisis, with the HIV crisis, about how certain communities or certain gay people will be stigmatized over something that lots of people do. And we got got to be careful about that.
And that kind of, I will use the term, bigoted language that makes it seem like the only people that get this are from one group of Americans. Hey, guess what? Gay men also have friends and family members and colleagues, and this is not just transmitted through sexual activity. It's transmitted through close contact. So you don't fight diseases. I'm glad Brad brought up HIV/AIDS. You don't fight diseases by caricaturing the people who get them or who get them at one point in time.
Okay.
Oh boy. So what we saw there, first of all, they admitted it's a sexually transmitted disease. I find it interesting that they are holding on to this this phobia of the real science. This guy mentioned 95%. That was in one study of 500 cases that was done by a particular outlet. The worldwide number is 99% of people getting monkeypox are men who have sex with men. But America is so obsessed with this idea, and she used the word bigoted, like, you're so bigoted for using the science, for pointing out the science, that this is affecting, at a 99% rate, gay men or bisexual men who have sex with men. And this is to bring up, well, just to revisit real quick, the article from The Atlantic that we had in episode 511, I believe. The Atlantic, U.S. messaging on monkeypox is deeply flawed. Officials seem unwilling to be direct about who is most at risk of the disease. This is by Jerusalem Demsis. And the whole article is about how this irrational fear by the U.S. media, first, to call this a sexually transmitted disease, although they just accidentally did. The truth had to come out at some point. But to work so hard at ignoring the fact, not even ignoring, but purposefully hiding the fact that gay men and bisexual men are most at risk. 99% of cases worldwide are with men who have sex with men. And this is Fox business. Fox is absorbed with this obsession about not being honest and clear about the science. Now, this is not to point out that, gay men, I keep saying that, men who have sex with men are, whatever, a danger to society. It's to identify the people who are really at risk so resources can be applied efficiently and scientifically, and not for the sake of no one diverting resources away from the people who are really at risk. And even Fox News is obsessed with more or less lying about the science so as to not be canceled on Twitter or something. Even when, head over to BuzzFeedNews.com headline, this was all over the place as well. Men who have sex with men should reduce their partners for now to avoid monkeypox. The WHO has advised. The World Health Organization is telling men who have sex with men to be monogamous. The World Health Organization is saying the same thing that the guy on Fox News is saying. He said it in a funnier way, admittedly. Stay away from gay orgies if you don't want to get monkeypox. And then was lambasted for being a bigot when the World Health Organization itself, the pinnacle of medical tyrannical scientism, is saying the exact same thing. Men who have sex with men should, for the moment, reduce partners and reconsider sleeping with new people in order to try and halt the global spread of monkeypox, the head of the World Health Organization said Wednesday. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus told reporters at a press conference in Geneva that 98% of the more than 18,000 recent monkeypox cases reported to the agency had been among men who sleep with other men. He urged members of this community to take steps to protect themselves amid the public health emergency. Quote, "This is an outbreak that could be stopped if countries, communities, and individuals inform themselves, take the risk seriously, and take steps needed to stop transmission and protect vulnerable groups." Even the World Health Organization is agreeing with this bigot on Fox News. Quote, "For men who have sex with men, this includes, for the moment, reducing the numbers of sexual partners, reconsidering sex with new partners, and exchanging contact details with any new partners to enable follow-up if needed." I would hope that there would be some sort of contact details, but I understand that that community is a little different than what I'm used to. These men might also consider avoiding big circuit parties or shirtless raves for the time being, aka orgies. Rosamund Lewis, technical lead for monkeypox at the WHO Health Emergencies Program, advised these men to reduce, quote, "the exposure in places that may put you at risk, such as crowded settings." This is another way to describe an orgy is a crowded setting where a lot of physical contact might take place among people who may already be at risk. Wednesday's new WHO advice goes beyond what has been suggested by the CDC in the U.S., which has so far only said that men who have sex with men should avoid skin contact with a person who has a rash. And it goes on and on and on. So there you go. Not only, oh, by the way, again, the HWO, Andy Seal, a WHO advisor on sexually transmitted infections, said the advice on reduced sex was, quote, "one message in a package of prevention messages that needs to get through to people, and particularly men." Says right here, people, and particularly men who have sex with men, are also being urged to continue to learn about the virus, monitor themselves or others for symptoms, and seek medical attention if needed. Monkeypox case, and then it goes on.
Have you seen the meme that's been floating out there of a person, kind of like a side view of a person, and they have the mask over their mouth for COVID, and then they have a mask.
Oh, stop it, Gonzo. Stop it. Stop.
Just
stop.
saying, people are sharing
It's a family
that.
show. It is a funny meme. I have not seen it, but
Okay.
I can imagine. Right. So, the American mainstream media is so, I don't even know the word. Hypnotized, scared is what it is. They're scared of whatever trends and forces that have dominated, I would say even spiritually. This is like a dominance over the mainstream media that has them so scared to tell the truth, the scientific truth about things. And this is not just COVID. This now extends to monkeypox, where they are refusing to report on very important aspects of the science of monkeypox, just so they don't seem like a bigot or whatever. And for Fox News especially to be doing this kind of nonsense is literally putting human beings at risk. This is literally damaging the communities that are most at risk, which seems to be, it's like the exact thing they're trying to not be perceived as doing. And yet that is what it's doing. And that is what the Atlantic article, I cannot believe that I am siding with the Atlantic over Fox News in this situation. Not that I'm a huge Fox News fan. In fact, in this case, I'm a big Atlantic fan more than anything. Now, as a note, do you have anything to say about this?
I not as much. It's meltdown over
You're
here.
taking care of a baby,
Yeah,
so I'm just going to keep going. Yeah, okay, you're doing your thing.
He wants to press the jingle board. I'm trying to keep him away from the jingle board.
Yeah, folks have not heard. After the show, when baby is sitting on the lap, he goes nuts on that jingle board. It is a cacophony of madness that kid can create. Just a quick note before we move on. BBC.com. Fourth patient, which we were about to bring this article, not this one, a different one, to last episode. And of course, last episode was last episode. And since then, the number has doubled in 2 days. And here's the headline. Fourth patient seemingly cured of HIV. A man who has lived with HIV since the 1980s seems to have been cured in only the fourth such case, doctors. Say doctors. The number was 2 on Wednesday, and suddenly it has now become 4. So as monkeypox is doubling every couple weeks, those being cured of HIV seem to be doubling every couple days. He was given a bone marrow transplant to treat blood cancer leukemia from a donor who was naturally resistant to the virus. Talking about HIV. The 66-year-old, who does not want to be identified, has stopped taking HIV medication. He said he was beyond grateful the virus could no longer be found in his body. The man is known as the City of Hope patient after the hospital where he was treated in Duarte, California. Many of his friends died from HIV in the era before antiretroviral drugs could give people a near normal life expectancy. And it goes in to a bit of a breakdown of what HIV and AIDS is, a little bit of the history. We kind of know what that is already. I don't think anybody needs an update on that. But it is relevant because this resistance to connecting men who have sex with men with monkeypox, the resistance to science, basically, by the mainstream media, is because of the AIDS crisis, where it was very specifically called a gay disease, and there's lots of issues, social issues, that came with that. Interestingly enough, Fauci was involved in that as well. And so this is like the reason why they're so scared to talk about the science. And yet, in the very same week that monkeypox is finally being recognized as a sexually transmitted disease, in the very same week and a half that some in the media are pushing back against this, we can't stigma the monkeys, we can't stigmatize gay people, we can't stigmatize anybody. In the very same week, suddenly, 4 people have been cured of HIV, a formerly incurable disease. I don't know what this means. Not saying it has anything to do with anything, but these are some extremely strange circumstances to be happening within days of each other. And interestingly enough, to fit into a grander sort of DNA scheme, DNA, whatever, the bigger, the wider meta picture, those being cured of HIV/AIDS, it seems to be coming from things like this bone marrow transplant, coming from people who are naturally immune. Again, the story being natural immunity from something can cure a formerly incurable disease. And as we saw during the pandemic for a few years, there were these strange people who were naturally immune to COVID. And so, we have a coalescing of events in the past 7, 8, 9 days that are disturbingly relevant to one another and disturbingly relevant to a broader meta narrative. And it must be mentioned. We've mentioned it before. Let's see here. The targeted gene for curing this HIV is called CCR5. Canary Cry Radio 5.
Fun.
We've talked about that before. Yeah. So there you go, man. I don't know what it means. It's rare. It's very strange. It's just sort of it's honestly, I'm a bit disturbed by how perfectly you couldn't write it any more perfect than the series of events over the past 8 days.
Yep. Sorry. Been dealing with the baby over here, so it's
no need to apologize. You are doing baby stuff.
Yeah.
Just nobody send me an email about how I need to stop monopolizing the show. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on back here. I'm keeping the show going so he can take care of a child. You want Gons to put his child in the corner, box him in, let him cry during the show? No. I am helping facilitate a good father. Okay. I don't want to hear about it. And with that, it's time to take a break.
All right.
It's break time!
This is a break. Don't just consume the content, but
become the content. Become the content.
All right, this is our break where we thank our producers who come in with their talent. We call upon our listeners and viewers to step up and become producers of the show by contributing with their God-given talent. Don't just consume the content, but actually provide value back by building the culture behind the community here at Canary Cry News Talk. All we ask is that whatever you make is for the show. And normally we have some audio production. We don't have any today, but that's okay. We're going to go straight to the art.
One art, please.
And we shall begin with Dame Allie of the Skillets Nation.
One art, please. One art, please. Another one from Allie now. Here it is.
And, did I get the wrong one? Oh, I have the wrong one here. I'm sorry. I got the one from last episode. Let me get the correct one up. There it is.
While you do that, I will mention that this is regarding an article. Illinois Senator Dick Durbin says he tested positive for COVID-19. Durbin, this is another article. Durbin calls for a DOJ investigation of Trump's DHS heads missing texts prior to January 6th. U.S. Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois said he tested positive Thursday for COVID-19 and was in quarantine with what he described as minor symptoms. Yeah, I heard that before. The number 2 Senate Democrat, who said in a statement he was vaccinated and had received 2 coronavirus booster shots, planned to continue to work remotely.
You know, he's 77 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, interesting. And part of this Dick Durbin piece is an accompanied haiku. Working remotely, a Dame Ebony Blaze haiku. Dick Durbin's COVID is minor. 'Cause shots, boosters, wants DHS text. Short and sweet.
Got him. Short and sweet. Love it. And here he is, Dick Durbin. Again, I say it kind of a lot. Very well done. But the geography of this man's face, it is like looking at the surface of an alien world. And Dame Allie has done such a wonderful job rendering it into a pencil headshot portrait. He's got these sort of very sinister eyebrows that start bushy, arch up, thin out, like some sort of Disney villain. And again, just like a Disney villain, he's got those little lizard eyeballs. Thank you very much, Dame Allie.
Thank you, Dame Allie. Excellent job, as usual. Appreciate it. All right, next up we have Sir Dove, the Knight of Ruspeltia.
One art, please, from Dove.
And he has a note, and it says, peace for this week's NWO Fantasy League update. We've got some more promotional artwork. The youngest player in the league and probable rookie of the year drops back to pass the ball downfield. It's been a rough start for Greta and the Carbon Cows. But there's not many players around with more grit than this gal. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do. Now keep praying for Ian's Dove.
I lost my mind when I heard Carbon Cows. When I read it, when it came in, Greta from the Carbon Cows.
Yeah.
And that's right. We've got Greta here. She's got a determined look on her face. She's got grit. She's growling. She's got her right arm pulled back for the pass. She's got her QB gear on her left arm. Her jersey is really cool. It's a cool, maybe my favorite jersey so far of the New World Order Fantasy League. It's a cow pattern. It's got a cow pattern. Number 16, of course, the age that she began her career. And the carbon cow, she's got a patch on the arm there of the Earth, looking very mean. It's got a mean sort of maniacal face.
I think that's the
Earth
flat Earth map too. Yeah.
Yes. It's
with
the flat Earth map, and it is on fire.
It is on fire. Yes.
Just as Greta has been warning us this whole time. Let's see here.
Her helmet has UN on the front. Right above the face guard there, and then on her arm. So football players
Tell me what
nowadays.
That is called. What is that thing called?
I don't know what it's called. I'm not that into football, but I know that quarterbacks these days, they have their playbook kind of on their arm, and so you have a couple plays here written on her arm. The "How dare you" halfback option. And the blah, blah, blah post route, which is a couple different plays that Greta is trying to run out there. So, great job, as always. Fantastic work. And that leads us to the jingle.
It is a New World Order Fantasy League. They're all 100% eugenics, transhumanist lizards that control everything. They hate you.
Head to newworldorderfantasyleague.com, NWOFL.com. Read about it, sign up, put your email in there, sign up to be on the wait list. We will go in order of appearance on that wait list if you'd like to get involved. Join the New World Order Fantasy League's first season. Go ahead, do it. I'm looking now. It is filling up, man. This is becoming an incredibly popular thing, and it's starting to terrify me. I need to start.
How many people are signed up?
Working. Well, I'm not sure it's be very kosher to say.
Okay.
In the hundreds.
Oh, wow.
There are hundreds of people.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yes, it's So go sign up soon, because the first sort of introductory emails will start going out, and you don't want to miss any of those. So go to NWOFL.com. At the bottom of the page, there's buttons all over it to sign up. It'll take you to the bottom of the page, and that's where you put in your email. All you're doing is just getting put on the list to be considered. Well, not considered. It's going in order of appearance. You sign up, because will most likely be a limit of how many people can play at one time, just because of the infrastructure on which it will be running will cost us money, per player. So we're trying to keep it value for value, trying to keep it reasonable. But it costs us money for every person who's going to sign up. There will be a limit. So go get on. I will tell you, I don't think we've reached that limit quite yet. So definitely go sign up. Okay. There you go. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much to Sir Dove. Got a marker in my mouth.
Baby attack.
Yeah, baby attack. Fun. Okay, let's we have a microfiction.
Yes.
Here we go.
Microfiction.
And it is by Rung Smash.
We've got to go, Replica, says the feline hero. If they find you here, they will not stop until you're deleted. He tries desperately to get her to get on Boo Moo, but she resists. No, I won't go until the real Basil sees what I've done for him.
Upsetting the baby.
Goo goo gaga.
Thank you, Rung Smash. Oh man,
wow.
This is a poor guy.
A lot of energy,
having a meltdown.
Yeah, it's let's wake up. We really just have the last story, and we're out of here.
Yeah. Okay. Let's.
We could not do the last story.
Yeah,
we could save
up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Plus,
crazy,
my
man.
connection to you my connection to you has gotten really bad. You and your baby sound like dying robots.
Maybe we are.
I was just learning to love. Oh my gosh.
Oh, my little man.
Baby. Okay. Why don't you go take care of the baby? Mute yourself. Go take care of your son. I will finish the show.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Make sure to mute yourself and coddle that beautiful little baby.
Okay.
All right, folks. It's time for the Days of Noah. What are the Days of Noah? So is the coming of the Son of Man be. You got to mute the baby. Not the baby. Mute yourself. Thank you. All right. This is coming from AOL.com. I didn't even know this was still a website. AOL is a website that exists. It goes like this. They look almost human-made. Noah finds weird lines of holes in mid-Atlantic floor. Wow, there's a lot here. This is NOAA, the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Association. I'm not sure if that's exactly it, but I think I did pretty good. It goes like this. Scientists exploring a submerged mountain range in the mid-Atlantic stumbled onto something they can't explain. An organized series of holes punched in the floor of the Atlantic Ocean. The discovery was made Saturday, July 23rd, and photos show the dots connect into nearly straight lines or trails or designs. Whoa. Excuse me, I got some show burps at the end here. NOAA, Ocean Exploration, isn't yet sure how to explain it. Quote, we observed several of these sublinear sets of holes in the sediment. These holes have been previously reported from the region, but their origin remains a mystery. Oh, this has been previously reported. Okay, so we've known about these holes in the ocean that line up in more or less perfect straight lines or designs. Quote, while they look almost human-made, the little piles of sediment around the holes make them seem like they were excavated by ... something. They put an ellipsis for sort of a mysterious pause there from the scientists at NOAA. The July 23rd dive reached depths of 1.7 miles, while that's a long way down, while visiting the summit of an underwater volcano north of Azores. A remotely operated camera was used to safely record the discoveries. NOAA posted photos that show the holes were found in what is otherwise a flat, sandy surface. Scientists invited the public to offer theories. Oh, there's your mistake right there, scientists. Oh, it's time. It's time for us to offer some theories. Scientists invited the public to offer some theories, but commenters have raised more questions, including some who wondered if the holes were made by someone taking core samples. Boring. Quote, is that an object or an animal inside the holes? Does that line run in the same direction as the current? Anthony Nairhood asked. Water from underground springs? Come on, Mike Weathersby. Have a little imagination. What about gas methane? Said Eduardo Pogorelski. The discovery was made as part of a voyage to the Ridge 2022 expedition, which is exploring and mapping the, quote, poorly understood deep water areas of the Charles Gibbs Fracture Zone, Mid-Atlantic Ridge in Azores, blah, 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 boring. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge stretches 10,000 miles from north to south and is considered, quote, the longest mountain range in the world and one of the most prominent geological features on Earth, NOAA Ocean Exploration says. All right, chat, start putting some theories about these dots, these dotted lines together, because I have some theories, but we'll play around in this space. Quote: the majority of it sits underwater, and thus much of it remains largely unexplored. With active tectonic spreading, the MAR is the site of frequent earthquakes. NOAA reports. Come on, this is obviously aliens. quote, hydrothermal vents may form where magma provides heat. Okay. As it rises to the seafloor, these vents are known to support diverse chemosynthetic communities. These chemosynthetic communities are the communities of people who will be using psilocybin in a couple of years, I think. However, little is known about life at these sites once vents go extinct, or what life lies beyond the vents, further away from the rift zone. Okay, let's see here. So obviously they're perforations is what it is. Like you get a perforated piece of paper, go to the DMV, you got to cut the piece of paper in half. It's kind of like that, perfectly spaced little vents across the ocean floor. It's obvious to me that this is like the seams of a big underwater base. You've got the like a door opens up right there. Let's see, chat, what do you have to say? We've got Elon's rocket leftovers. I don't know what that means, but I think Elon's rocket leftovers could really explain a lot of unexplained things that happens here on Earth. We've got Godzilla Hollow Earth confirmed from Brother G. Brother G, you hit the nail on the head, my friend. This is a Hollow Earth access point. It's like an emergency exit for Hollow Earth. Of course, we all know the Hollow Earth has its openings at the in Antarctica. Admiral Burr showed us somehow. I'm sure there's footage somewhere, perhaps in the catacombs beneath the Vatican, or in some black site near Roswell or something like that. But yeah, it's like an emergency exit door. On the other side of these perforations, on the other side of the door, it's like, do not exit unless it's an emergency. Hollow Earth alarm will sound. So I think actually, I don't know if anybody else here has ever snuck into a movie theater using one of the doors, one of the emergency exit doors. I certainly would never do something so heinous to our wonderful theaters here in the U.S. But, it's easy. You just got to get one of your buddies. You buy one ticket. You send him in. He opens the door on the other side. Boom. You got 10 of your best, sober, respectable friends into the theater for the price of one ticket. I think if we really want to learn the secrets of the Hollow Earth, we got to it only takes one of us getting on the inside, and we come around, we open up this emergency exit door, and then all of us can go enjoy the Hollow Earth for the price of one. Let's see here. We've got Super Mario Green. Oh, Brother G is continuing with a nice alien underwater base. That's good. Ebony Blaze is asking if I'm advocating theft. You know what? If you really want to get into it, theft of what? Does the Hollow Earth really need my $13 when it comes to seeing Thor 2, Still Thorin? I don't think so, but that's beside the point. So I'm sure Gons had a really good theory. Let's try to think of what maybe Gons would have thought of. I'm thinking, from what I know about my good friend Gons, it would probably be something like this. Well, in Revelation 13, it talks about the beast coming up from the sea. And where's the beast now, if not under the sea? So we've got the 10-horned beast, and he's underneath, and this is where he's going to come out. He needed little breathing holes. I hear him breathing, so I'm assuming that I'm pretty close. Yeah. Did I nail it?
Yes, I was. Was that you doing my voice?
That was me doing you.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Did I nail it? That's exactly what you were going to say, wasn't it?
I was going to bring up, of course, the Revelation 13 beast of the sea, but also you got Jesus.
Nailed it.
going down, between the 3 days. Yeah, the 3 days between, he's going down into the abyss.
Oh, Jesus. So that was pretty close to mine then. I was calling it a Hollow Earth emergency exit door.
Yeah.
It's emergency exit. Like you can only come out of it. But if Jesus was going down into Sheol to do his thing,
to declare victory to the demons.
Yeah, he would come out through the emergency exit door and maybe turn the alarm on, and it would be stuck on, and it would really annoy everybody stuck down there in the abyss.
Maybe this was the access or exit door for the people who were, released from Abraham's bosom.
It could be, yes, it could be that too. Abraham's bosom wasn't it referenced as like under? It just wasn't Sheol, wasn't it?
It was in Sheol,
and Sheol. Yeah, and Sheol is sort of described as being beneath the waters,
right?
Yeah. Or at least in those sort of old rabbinical cosmology illustrations, you have Sheol under the ocean or under the waters that are beneath the waters.
Did the article mention how big this is or how long it goes for? Isn't that interesting? It doesn't say any of that. That's kind of bizarre.
Yeah,
to me.
it should. If it would make a big difference if these went for miles,
right? Or if it's
feet,
either way, it's weird, but it does make a difference, depending on how long, how big,
they said some of them were in designs. They said they appear in designs, and they don't show any of the designs.
Yeah, they
just
might
show
have
the
discovered some stuff that they don't want us to know about yet. And it's all coming to the surface, no pun intended. But this there was, who was it? Was it James Cameron who went down? Oh, maybe that was the Pacific Ocean though.
He went to Titanic.
Okay,
that was at the Atlantic.
Was it the Atlantic? And then there was who was that guy who recently said that we should go to the bottom of the ocean to discover alien technology? Forget who it was. Somebody said that recently too. So maybe
it was in regards, wasn't it in regards to Antarctica?
Yeah, but it was some. I forget who it was. Now I'm forgetting. But all in all,
also the Evercube is down there.
The Evercube. It's everything, all the things that are not normal but supernatural.
Wherever we can't go is where all the cool stuff is.
Apparently,
it's just sort of the natural way of things.
And it is interesting too because remember we just talked about transmedium being a new category of UFOs that can travel between space, sky, and water.
You're right.
So
it really is the UFO docking bay.
I think they're starting to kind of reveal something. Who knows what, but something.
Yeah, indeed.
And if it comes out of the sea, then hey, got some Revelation 13 references.
Speaking of which, it is time that we reveal the reminder that the Canary Cry Mixtape Volume 1, folks, it's out, it's ready, it's waiting for you. You can find it at canarycry.party. It's on Spotify, it's on Bandcamp. If you'd like to, just go enjoy it. Just go enjoy it. I'll just say that. Just go. It's there for you to enjoy. Enjoy it. I've been enjoying it. I've had it on repeat. I got the early access link. Thank you to... I got to listen to it before anybody. And thank you to Saw for Yahweh. Saw for Yahweh. He's over there on the Discord. He's awesome. This is not an easy or fast thing to do. Not just picking out. He's not picking out the songs, but he's putting the songs,
organizing,
in order.
Yeah.
Using the art of album construction. He's doing this. It's like I said, there's going to be more volumes. It's kind of done in like a chronological order and a theme order, because we have a lot more Canary Cry mixtape material that's going to come out. But it's in sort of a semi-chronological order. So any of the new mixtape stuff, it'll be out in a couple of volumes. But it's been really fun revisiting so many of the extremely talented producers who have been creating music for this show now for years. So go check it out. Canary Cry Mixtape Volume 1. you'll find it. But canarycry.party is a great place to start.
Yep.
Okay, let's end the show, Gons.
Yeah, we need to do it.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk, everybody. We will be back on Monday. So, August 1st. Dun, dun,
wow,
dun.
We're done.
Yeah, we're doing it. And while we're at it, I want to thank some more producers. Like I said, your time, your talent, your treasure. We've thanked so many producers. We also have producers who are keeping us going with their time. They are committed. They are faithful. They are making so many things happen around here, including Saw for Yahweh. He's a mixtape producer. Love it. Some more talented, hardworking producers are Clippies.
Oh, sorry. I was not prepared at all for your little thing here.
I mean, it's only exactly what we do every time.
Clipping all those videos. Thanks.
Thank you, Emsworth and Faye Liverin, for clipping the show, segmenting it out, managing the Canary Cry Clips channel. It is such a value to Gons, myself, and the rest of the producers. And go subscribe to the Canary Cry Clips channel on YouTube, everybody. That is our first line of defense for getting back on YouTube if something horrible happens, but also just a wonderful resource filled with very important information there waiting for you. Thank you to our timestampers.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
Timestampers. The timestamps go into so much of our back end production stuff and is very important. I want to thank, let's see here, Wednesday, I believe, was Ebony Blaze doing the timestamps.
Thank you.
Thank you
Blaze.
very much. Yeah. Thank you. Somebody did it. Thank you, whoever it is. Somebody, please tell me who did it. Oh, I think it was Jade Bouncerson. Thank you, Jade Bouncerson. Yes, of course. Meetups. Go to canarycrymeetups.com.
Canary Cry Meetup.
Go there. There's meetups going on. Reno, Nevada tomorrow. Go to Reno, Nevada tomorrow. There's also meetups in August. Next month, we'll be pumping the next meetup, which is somewhere, and I'm not even on the webpage, but there's one August 27th. But right now, focus up, everybody. Reno, Nevada tomorrow, 3:30, San Rafael Park. The entrance to the Arboretum. In August, we have Houston Galveston, August 27th. I need to update that flyer. And October 15th, Bald Eagle State Forest in Pennsylvania. Go to these meetups. It's very important. If you don't see one near you, put one on yourself. Just choose a time, a place, and let us know. And people will show up. Perhaps even one of us.
This is fun. See you at the
We got 2 reviews this week, Gons. 2 reviews. First was from Oops, I listened to MN again. I don't know what that is, but I'm sorry if that's something you didn't want to do. United States, 5 stars. Scrumptious. Haven't heard it, but it's good. Friends at the meetup say it's scrumptious. There's a theme in today's meetups, Gons, and everybody should take this to heart. There's a theme in today's meetups, which is they are from people who don't listen to the show. Somebody was at a meetup.
Yeah, if we can get people that don't listen to the show to leave reviews.
Yeah,
if you are a listener, you got no excuses.
What kind of cosmic dropping of the ball are the listeners achieving right now, where someone who hasn't even heard the show is leaving a rating and a review, calling it scrumptious. Thank you. Oops, I listened to MN again. Next, we have Flaccid Core 2, United States of America, 5 stars. This is great. Favorite podcast by far. Hey, Basil, I've been trying to get my mom to listen to this insane podcast for years, and the conspiracy part turned her off. I did, however, get her to listen to Ravel, and she's listened to several episodes. Basil, give her a shout out, please, on Ravel. I'm Timothy, and she is Candace. I'm so happy she listens to Ravel. Yes, Timothy, thank you for this review. Even though I don't really know what he thinks about us, about this podcast, except for he said it's insane, and his mother doesn't listen to it.
No, his mother said it was insane, right?
No, I know. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. You're right. Yes. So thank you, Timothy, for the review. Thank you, Candace, for listening to Ravel. I will give a shout out to you on Ravel. And
well, she won't know, she won't hear this part.
Thank you for calling this podcast insane. No, I think insane. Timothy called it insane. Mom didn't call it insane.
Sure?
Maybe she did. Anyways, there's our 2 reviews for the day, for the week.
Oh, good.
Thank you very much to the reviewers. And the rest of you, come on. I don't even know what to do anymore. Go leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. Please. It's very important to us, and we can't do anything about it. You'll be mightily rewarded for leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. It's super easy, takes 2 minutes, and really helps us out. I don't know, being chilly or something.
Ugly, horrible person. You must leave review on iTunes. And if you do not, you are ugly, horrible person. You bring shame to family. Being chilling. Ugly, horrible person.
Yep.
Thank you, Producer Jam, for the links. And that's it. Other than that, folks, I forgot to thank the executive producer. Thank you very much to our executive producer, Patreon Nancy.
Thank you, Patreon Nancy.
Indeed. And thank you to the rest of our producers. Yo, folks, the only way this show happens, perhaps this is a test. I'm just letting you know. The only way that the show can happen in the frequency, the length, and the format that it exists in now is if the value that is received gets put back into the system. It's the only way we can keep going. And so if you want to become a producer, get demooched, head on over to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
Other than that, share the show, share it with your mom, share it with your dad, share it with your dog. But if you're one of those unique people who want to share the show in a way that nobody else is, you want to express yourself and make sure that everybody knows just how unique and special you are, you can share it in any number of very strange and wonderful ways. One way you could do that is go ahead, get yourself a camouflage suit. Get yourself a camouflage suit, preferably one of those sort of DARPA camouflage suits that takes the camera and projects what is behind you in front of you. Use this suit to sneak into a CIA black site or perhaps a secret Air Force base, either probably deep in the Nevada desert or New Mexican desert. Sneak on in there, get your hands on the keys. The key locker is usually left unlocked. Isn't that a bit ironic? Go to the key locker there in the third closet to the left when you enter through the southeastern emergency exit. You're going to need somebody to go in there before you. Open up the emergency exit where you can sneak in with your camouflage suit. Third closet on the left, unlocked key box. Get yourself a UFO pair of keys. Head on over to the hangar, steal a UFO, fly out, far, far, far into the Atlantic Ocean. It is a transmedium craft, as you know, so go ahead and dive 1.7 miles beneath the ocean's surface. Look for the perforated lines in the bottom of the ocean. Go ahead and type the pass key to the emergency exit door to the hollow earth into the keypad within the UFO. It's that pad on the left hand side of the joystick right above the emergency eject button. Do not press the emergency eject button, but type the key code in there. And what is the key code, you might ask? Well, I think if you head on over to Elon Musk's Twitter account and find the very funny numbers that he tweets about fairly often, just put in those numbers into the keypad, the emergency exit to the Hollow Earth will open up and you can dive on in, folks. And once you're down there, here's one thing we do not have the capability of doing, and that is broadcasting this podcast to the Hollow Earth. Indeed, the earthly internet and the Hollow Earth internet are not connected. So you're going to need to bring a USB drive with you, start an account on Hollow Earth Apple Podcasts, and you can just go ahead and upload all of our podcasts to the Hollow Earth internet. It is a market that we have yet to come in contact with. I think the Hollow Earthians are going to love the show. And that would immediately increase our listenership by at least 4 or 5 billion. And hopefully some of those Hollow Earthians become producers as well. You don't have to share the show that way, but you can. If you need any more instructions, we call it rattling cages. And all you need to do is walk right up to them, grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Don, any last words?
No. Thank you, everybody. No. Other than just thank you and have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys Monday. End of July. That's it. July's over. What's tomorrow? Is there anything tomorrow?
Get out of here, July.
Oh, tomorrow is National Whistleblower Day. So maybe some whistleblowers coming out and saying some things.
Oh, yeah. We got whistles to blow, folks.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage and go listen to the Canary Cry Mixtape, Volume 1.
This is not about freedom or personal choice.
We're all gonna die.
I love the Great Reset.
Give me a break. And Corn Pop was a bad dude. Keep yapping, man. Boy, really a productive segment, man.
They all want to share their data.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake.
I wrote the bill.
I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
You little rascal. I am so hot.
You're so hot.
I'm... Gons. I am so hot. So hot. Penis. I cannot believe I just said that out loud. Proceedings.
National Academy of Sciences, PNAS.
Oh my gosh, Adam Carolla got me again. All right.
Anatomical reference.
Is that fake? It looks real. The whole thing is real. There's no other satire.
The website, pnas.org. I mean, we're looking at the
PNAS.
Where's their PR people?
I want to be decapacitated. I want to be vaccinated.
Guns, you know what's going on. Guns. Canary Cry News Talk, man, what's going on? Gotta turn it on, shows coming on live. VPN on when I'm going online. Anonymity, man, cryptocurrency. We got everything you need, get it 3 times a week. Jesus Christ the King, let the Holy Spirit speak. Battle in the cage, gotta set the captive free. Value for value, to me it's not free. Wish I had a longer streak, but this creativity. Go fulfill the 3 T's, that's the time, choose your talent. Give it right back, put it right back in balance. Not right or left, we not with the distractions. Catastrophes are the classic techniques. All attacks of the enemy, getting defeated. Underneath the feet of Jesus, just believe us. Media is trying to deceive ya. Gotta read between the lines till you see through the disguise. It's a slit reptilian eye sitting on top the pyramid. Got a myriad of top topics. Might be on a watch list. R.I.P. face like the sun, but you cannot stop this. Like the Lord's gonna come stop this beast system, this infinite wisdom. Yeah, when the time is right, yeah, we're gonna take flight like a thief in the night. So I gotta get it right. I gotta repent and sit patient. Waiting for supply drop. Google eyes don't blink, man. I need some eye drops. Google mind deep thinking for the AI thoughts. Yeah, Basil Gons. You know what's going on. Basil Gons. Canary Crown News Talk, man, what's going on. Basil Gons. And you know what's going on. Basil. Canary Crown News Talk, man, what's going on. Propaganda.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.
CanaryCrimeRadio.com/support.